Anyway, let's spend your experience points and jump right back into the Crusade of the Child, shall we?
Yeah, I'm not spending any experience points because
I'm too hardcore for that.
with as sick as he is, like he just doesn't. One, I'm convinced he'll figure it out. But also, I think with as sick as he is and stuff, I just don't see him being even if the game mechanic allows him to do it. I just don't think that's right in light of his current state.
Okay, yeah, sure, I get it. No worries. Yeah, I mean, currently you have minus 15% to all stats.
Yeah,
And
I think I'm at like 2 health points or something. And I'm not exactly gonna be like, wait a minute, I just figured out how to weave. You know, all
yeah.
these years I haven't been able to figure it out, and suddenly it gives me hallucinations. I can I can see it like trying to get a thread and a needle for like months, and all of a sudden it goes through, and you're like,
and then
I
you
knew it.
and then
The hallucination explained it.
and then he dies and it doesn't matter anyway. That was tragic.
Yeah.
Okay, Andy. Sure. What about you, Brian?
I haven't planned my progression yet. Like I usually make a little flow chart, you know what I
Okay.
mean? Because like some careers you can get certain things and others you can't. So I guess I'm gonna level up with like Dragon Ball Z.
Okay. Okay. Sure. Uh,
Just as long as you do the yell though.
yes.
I can weave now.
What about you, Jason?
I'm kind of in the same boat where I kind of learned everything that I can learn on the road.
Okay.
Everything else is pretty much has to be trained for, or that type of thing.
Yeah. Sure. Finally, we have you, Sean.
I just don't have any experience points yet.
Okay. You've received the item, right?
Yes.
You've read it.
Yes.
Do you wear it, or do you have it in your pocket?
Yeah, I have it in my pocket.
Okay.
And pull it out as needed if I feel like.
Whoa! Sam the Game.
Okay. Uh,
One of those kind of wizards.
yes. Uh, Brian, just have one thing. I mean, uh, if you would be able to rather quickly think what you want to spend your XP on, because normally you only do this at the beginning of the session. Like, I get that you didn't have time or and stuff.
Oh no, like I don't mean like literally in the middle of the fight. I just mean like not today.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, but because like for example,
Like a Dragon Ball Z.
If we finish in a fight or something today,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
yeah.
And then we
The
come
next session
back,
we come back
and
to
it's
fight.
like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm spending this, and suddenly my weapon skills up 10%
Yeah.
in the middle of the fight.
Yeah, but normally, like, if it would be 15 minutes or even half an hour into the game, it wouldn't be like it's not a problem. Okay, cool. So, who's making notes?
I'm not sure, but I think it's my turn.
Okay, you already have the document created.
I see it. There it is.
Yes. Right. So, your first day in the Crusade of the Child has just passed. You all went to sleep. If you remember, you were divided into two guard groups. Three guard groups. One for the morning, one for the middle day, and one for the evening. And I believe the morning group was Vrentar, Nils, who returned to the tent, by the way, and someone else. I don't remember who was in the morning group, honestly. Um,
I think Jason had it
v-
written down earlier.
okay, I think, yeah, I think it might also be in detail. but I'm not sure. Well, anyway, you were traveling with the Crusade of the Child that is heading towards Altdorf, and you've discovered a couple of alarming things. First of all, you were asked both by Father Helmut and Jan to discover the supposed cultist threat lurking within the midst of the crusade. You've noticed that you were also watched by people with boils. By the crusaders. Well, all of the crusaders are dirty, disheveled, in a horrible condition. But those people, they have that have been like spying on you. You've noticed big, filthy, disgusting boils on their lips. And
As a priest of Sigmar, do I know anything about herbal?
no, you would need to have knowledge chaos or lore chaos, lore dark magic, stuff like that, to know anything. Yeah. I don't even think that Dieter knows, although I might be mistaken, of course. I don't really remember if your character knows anything about this, Sean.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
When I saw the stuff about Dark One, I was like, oh, that's cool. Oh, it's not.
Well,
Come on, going insane.
yes. So anyway, you've managed to catch one of those people, a girl with this horrible boil. You wanted to interrogate her, and by you I mean Dieter and Vrentar, but she bit on the boil. The boil exploded, and she started projectile vomiting blood, as well as shooting blood pass from her mouth, nostrils, eyes, actually from, I believe, almost every orifice on her body.
At that point, Lucas shouts, "I'm out."
No, Lucas didn't shout that because he was guarding, I believe, the tent. I mean the child, or he was at the time walking along the crusade. You weren't with the guys, unfortunately. But Vrentar and Dieter told the rest of you about this, and the rest of you also spotted those people when your shifts were up. It's clear that you are being followed. There have also been some rumors, mainly concerning Captain Krieger, Karl's personal bodyguard, and the commander of his security detail. It's clear that Jan and Helmut don't like each other. It's clear that there are many rivalries within the inner circle, and with each passing hour, you are getting nearer and nearer to Altdorf. Now we have a morning of day 2, but first Sean wanted to ask me something. What is it, Sean?
Yeah, what I didn't see in the description there, and I don't clearly remember, is did we see like people getting the stuff on them and having an adverse reaction, or I don't remember that one.
What do you mean stuff on them? I don't.
Well, so she started erupting all this.
Yeah, and you've managed to dodge the eruption, by the way. Yeah.
But
But
I mean,
did anybody else show signs afterwards?
did they immediately also start?
Immediately, no, not. When the people nearby remembered that the crusade is a few thousand people strong. When the nearest people saw what's happening, they've just jumped back and started yelling. Because that was very unnatural. And after that, you quickly left, and you probably wouldn't be able to find even a single person from that group right now. Given that the Crusaders are, intermingling with each other, walking, some of them are being left behind, those too weak to follow. Some of them die on the road. Others are, unfortunately, become victims of thugs and of other more brutal crusaders. Like I've said, the Crusade of the Child, except for Inner Circle, is probably one of the worst places to actually be in the Empire. But it's also made from people who have nothing else to live for, and who truly believe that Karl will actually save them and will usher a new and better future for them all, as well as for the whole Empire.
If you're talking about it, I suspect they need Karl to save.
Well, yeah, yeah.
Right, like that's I think if you're talking about that, and I'm not trying to do your job, but I just thought that was probably a good point to keep in mind. Like these people need to believe that Carl can save them because they need Carl to save them.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they're that's how bad off they are.
They are mainly refugees from the northern provinces, and who have lost everything they had, and they have, well, nothing else. For example, Krieger and his men, they were originally sent to apprehend the Crusaders, but they saw Karl and started to believe. Lord Eisenbach, who lends his knights to the Crusade, believes that Karl will help him get reparations for Reikland troops, being stationed on his territory in Middenland during the war. Everyone has something to gain, or actually, believes that Karl can help them with something, be it personal thing, financial thing, stuff like that. Of course, mostly it's about faith. Like, those people truly believe that Karl is Sigmar Reborn, and probably some of you also do as well, but that's up to you. I've told you how this mechanic works.
All of us do, right?
Yeah. So anyway, well, Nils is, Nils is Nils. Day to morning. You all wake up in your tent. By the way, every time Karl's compound looks exactly the same as on the map here. So your tent is number 11, of course. You wake up in your tent. You can smell the Crusade even before you open your eyes, but you can also smell food cooking outside, and you are pretty hungry.
I have a question around this time. For us who are wounded, Vince being rather wounded, should we discuss healing with Brian, your character,
Rentar.
Rentar?
Well, yeah, you can, of course, before your shift starts without any problems.
Yeah. So that'd be something. And I think I'm probably not the only one who's very wounded. No, to be honest. Yeah. So, and we're also ill, so that'd probably be a discussion we can come up with.
Yeah, you guys see right now. Well, actually, Vincent, you don't need healing. Karl will save you.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, nah, you're fine. You don't need healing.
Alright.
Yeah. Yeah. That said, Vrentar and Dieter, you see that Lucas and Vincent are very sick. And I mean very, very sick. They look horrible.
Seen anything like it before?
No. No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Have you seen a physician?
Who are you talking to?
You?
For what?
Like in character.
Yeah,
You
this
see, you look like shit.
yeah, this is nothing that can't be handled.
Nils looks.
Trust in yourself.
Ye-
Trust in Carl.
Leopold Fowlebrand, who is also with you. Remember that guy? He's with you, and he's like, "Yeah, you guys don't look so good. Maybe you should, I don't know, see a quack or something."
I'm gonna insist that they see a physician.
Okay, you insist. What do you guys do about Vrentar's insisting?
Why are you doubting Carl?
I'm not doubting Karl. It's a potential chink in the armor. I want this crusade to be strong for Sigmar. Sigmar Reborn.
Ooh, Karl Franz.
Up the W right now.
Peter writes down in his notebook, Vincent and Lucas look like
Yeah.
Continued at the will of Karl. This is not anything you need to worry about.
Now, easy, says Nils. We are all friends here. Master Vrentar, I'm sure it's just a cold that they've caught.
Who is saying this?
Nils,
Nils?
the boy, yeah.
Oh, the guy that doesn't quite fully believe that
Well,
Sigmar was born?
you have your suspicions, but he never said that he is not believing.
Yeah.
Uh. But it's clear.
Aren't you once in the way of healing, old man? Suggesting us we go elsewhere? You just looking for someone to practice your magic on?
You see that Leopold, when Vincent told this, he quickly like moved to the furthest back of the tent.
That wasn't directed to Reptar.
Yeah, I know. I just want to be as far away from you when he bashes your skull in for saying that he practices magic.
Or, I guess you would say prayers. Practice your prayers. That's probably more appropriate.
Okay. He's 42. I mean, he's like kind of disheveled looking, but
No, oh,
42 is old for the old world.
well, you're older than.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
Anyway, Vincent, you feel immortal. You feel invincible. The car protects you. You can take on everything. You are. Yeah, I mean, other than that, other than the fact that you speak, like a girl, everything is fine.
Now,
I am invincible!
are we, I guess, not in a state where we would get some hit points back over the nights?
No, you're not. You would need a good night's rest. Yeah, in an inn, not in a tent. Anyway, you hear.
I think it's beyond
Yeah,
prayer. I think you're ill.
Brian, do you have? Can you heal? I mean, do you have the?
I have healing.
Well,
No. Do you have test? I mean, skill like medicine or healing.
I have healing, yes.
Roll for heal.
also, it's not just like a physical illness looking, like, just to paint a picture. I'm still, like, battle wounded from days before. So it's not just like
Mm,
cuts and wounds and
yeah.
gashes.
Vrentar, you honestly don't know what afflicts this man. They are looking very, very, very unhealthy, and that worries you.
It's beyond my expertise, Fred.
You there, guardsmen! You hear from outside. Prepare for your first watch. On the double. Karl expects. Who takes the first? I believe Vrentar and Vincent take the first watch. Vrentar and Dieter. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't clear to me. Sorry, let me go back to that. I missed my notes from last time. So.
Yeah, I don't remember like.
Okay, I think Renthar and Niels were it might have been that because I think I was odd man out, so I think Dieter and Leopold together. Lucas and
Okay, so let's say that it's like this. Vrentar and Nils, Dieter and Leopold, and Lucas and Vincent for the evening shift. So, Vrentar and Nils, you go outside. And Leopold Fowlebrand, let's say that he's with you. He's in, he also works during the morning shift.
Quick question before we change scenes. Are the injuries we have that bring our wounds down, are
I don't understand.
Well, like, we have an illness, but then we're also wounded from combat.
Yeah.
Those are like two different things.
You're not healing, Jason. You need a room and a warm bed and a good meal.
It goes for more for Rentar's test. If he was testing for both or one or the other.
No, I want him to roll for your illness, not for the combat. So yeah, so that's that. Anyway, you go outside. You can see already that the camp is packing, and the Crusade is ready to move. You can also see that the compound's guards are making sure that everything is right. Rentar, Niels, and Leopold, you are naturally ordered to walk with the coach, with Karl's coach, which is also always at the front of the Crusade. But first, as you are walking, you can actually you overhear something. You overhear Captain Krieger asking his servant if he has seen his left glove. He can't find it. Apparently, he can't find it anywhere. He's like, "Have you seen my left glove?" No, sir. Honestly, I don't. Shame. Damn, that was a fine glove. Now I don't have a matching pair. Anyway, the rest of you guys, I mean Leopold, I mean Lucas, Vincent, and Dieter, you are also preparing to move. You pack your tent, you pack your belongings, and as you move them, you hear an exchange between, you notice two of Jan's bodyguards. Captain Krieger wandered off again last night, mentions one of them. Went into them trees there. Couldn't have been going for a squat. He walked right past the latrines. Makes you wonder what he's up to. Let him be, his fellow adds. Krieger's got a lot on his mind. Probably just couldn't sleep.
Or had a really bad case of the squats.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't touch that glove.
Yeah, so they've also,
Possessed by Slaaneach, like the rest of the
yes. One of them, when he thought about the woods, he pointed with his head to the nearest wood from the Crusade.
Who's he talking to?
You.
Oh. Then Vincent kind of nods. Kind of not showing too much concern, but finding it, why not?
Vincent, you have an urge to go with Dieter to the woods.
Okay. Then I kind of for a couple of minutes. I look for Vincent.
What? Oh, okay.
Truck stops are like bathhouses.
Okay.
It's either that or it's gonna be a standby meme on that. Putting a body down by the train tracks and poking with a stick.
So
Yeah.
I kind of stick Lucas, and then the rest of the work that has to be done, we're packing up. Lucas, if I tag along with yes, Hair, whatever his name is, glove needs to be found because he is one of Karl's lieutenants. Keep us with property.
Yeah. That he does.
That's right. So he said you go. It's good. Find the glove. I kind of because he's half insane from disease.
I don't think you know about the glove. That was the other thing.
Yeah, that was Vrentar and yeah.
Well, in that case, in his half insanity from the insanity, and
All right. So Dieter and Vincent, um, you go into the woods, and you know, as you move away from the Crusades encampment, you easily find heavy boot prints. Eventually, it leads you to a small clearing. Uh, sure. And Dieter, you really regret taking this stroll because in the middle of a clearing, you see that there is a circle of runes. The runes are black and shimmer with movement. Closer inspection reveals the movement to be tens of thousands of flies feasting. These rise in a huge buzzing swarm, revealing the runes were written in excrement and slime. You see that in the circle is a dead sheep. It has not been wounded, instead it seems to have died of horrible plagues. It reeks, and red boils cover its face. Instead of hooves, it has little shriveled baby hands. Both of you make willpower tests, please. Nice, and remember, Vincent, that you have minus 15% to everything, but you've passed anyway. Nice. So no insanity for you. Well done. Uh,
Immediately.
uh, Dieter,
Carl.
Dieter, you also spot. Actually, no, sorry. Yeah, actually, sorry, Dieter, you also spot one thing. Heavy boots have been walked around the circle, and there is a man's glove on the ground, smeared with slime and excrement.
See if I can break off a stick.
I wanna grab Peter and be like, leave it for the authorities. This man is this looks like a slightly different picture of
Dieter, remember that you are authorities, essentially.
yeah, but like there's we're talking about higher ups that could be involved with a conspiracy against Karl. So even if we're authorities, we may not have the authorities to put somebody at that level.
So are we worried about forensics?
No, it's like I suggest we pull
CSI
somebody
Empire.
I suggest we pull someone of a much higher authority and show them this picture. For it will be our words against theirs, and they carry much more weight. And for Karl's sake, we can't let them get away with this.
Well, I want to, fine, I won't move the glove. I want to see what the glove looks like.
What's my urge? Do I still have like an urge there?
You want to report this, of course,
Yeah, so I would.
but you also want to take the glove. So actually, at some point, Vincent tells you we should pick up the glove, Dieter, and take it.
Well, let's grab it and let's get out of here.
Okay.
Make up your mind, bro.
What?
Okay.
I look over to my shoulder and say what?
Actually, no, says Vincent. I know. Let's bring the inner circle here. They can see it for themselves.
All right.
I'm first. I'm
Okay.
Vince kind of shaking his head like not entirely.
Himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Let me do two things here. Let me write this down.
Clearly, you didn't take the scribe career.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm trying to think about what I want to do versus, and then I'm writing it down. I'm like, oh shit, I forgot to write this part down. Okay. Heavy boot prints, glove, excrement, wounds, excrement pus.
Man, there's a lot of excrement.
sure who's
Well,
okay.
you go side by side first.
All right. So
Everybody in
drop your trousers.
And defecate.
So we so Dieter goes, yes, we must run back and gather the circle quickly to Karl's coach.
You see that?
They start off.
Yeah, you can see that the glove is very nice. It's, you know, leather, but also embroidered with some fine silver lining. This is actually, you know, this is a quality glove used by probably someone very important. You move back to the camp, and you also see your friends, you know, right next to the coach, which is preparing to move out. When Vrentar and you see, actually Vrentar and Lucas, who is also standing nearby, you see that Dieter, Vince, and Vincent move quickly towards you. Of course, the inner circle is also right next to the coach, standing with Karl. You know, they are discussing the trip. Please, Dieter, by all means.
Quickly, I must speak with Karl. There's
What is happening? Asks Krieger. It's not your shift, is it?
no, sir, but there's something afoot. I must speak with our Lord and Savior Karl.
You can speak to us, says Jan. We are his voice.
Who was, I have to check the notes. Who came to us, Lucas, and told us if there was any conspiracy, report back to them?
Jan.
I think Jan and Father Helmut.
Father Helmut came to Vrentar.
Alright, so where is Jan?
He's talking to you.
Oh, well, yeah, then let's immediately report. Vincent's going to immediately report that there's foul play afoot.
Where this foul play is exactly? Asks Helmut.
Vincent points like straight to the woods and be like, we can take you there immediately.
Very well. You, and he speaks to, you know, to the guards, to his temple guards. Take care of young Karl. Lead the way, young man, says Helmut, and he doesn't care. And you know, Krieger, Eisenbach, and Jan follow all of you. Oh, he also orders you, Vrentar, and you, Lucas, to go with them.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, by the way, Vrentar, are you there? Brian?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm kind of worried about Karl, though. Like,
well, yeah,
I'm ordered to go, so, alright, I guess I have to go.
yeah. You don't want to leave him, but he's in safe hands. He's in the hands of temple guards of Helmut, who are honest and you know, and faithful. So you don't really have to worry. At least that's what you're telling yourself. You move to the clearing, to the small clearing, and well, you all of you see what's in there, what's inside, inside the strange like mark symbol. Helmut prays. Jan loudly hopes no one from the camp is responsible. Eisenbach curses and spits. And Krieger essentially is horrified and vows to find and kill the cultists responsible. Vincent, you want to show the glove. You want to show them the glove.
Yeah, I want to say, make note of the item that was left behind by perhaps the culprit.
What is this? Asks Krieger. Where?
Wearing the other glove?
Yeah. Where did you find it? It's mine.
It is where we found it.
Uh,
There on wherever it is.
Did you
This is where we found it, this is where we left it.
Did you lost it, Krieger? Asks Eisenbach. Yes, it's mine. I've lost it.
Vincent's going to cross his arms and kind of accusate
Lucas is gonna kind of.
You are consorting with the enemy, says Jan. You are in league with the dark forces. I always knew it. Krieger is like, no, I'm not. I'm faithful, but
Vincent's gonna grab his sword hilt and
n-
towards
you don't grab anything. You just want to shut the fuck up and stay still.
The wizard, on the other hand,
No,
and is talking.
you are literally ordered.
No,
No, I mean Vincent is literally ordered to stay still. You just hear one word: stay. Stay. Watch. Krieger is well, Jan accuses him of being essentially a cultist. He, of course, I am faithful. I was always faithful to Karl. But this is your glove, right? Yes, yes, it is. Helmut looks at him very sadly and asks him, and also his men who came along with him, and who are guilty by association, to submit to being locked up until the matter can be investigated further. You see that some of Krieger's men reached for their weapons, but the captain ordered them with a single glance and a simple gesture, to don't do anything stupid. We'll submit. Of course, we are innocent and this will be proven. Very well, says Helmut. When we take a stop during the afternoon, you will be locked in a tent and guarded by Lord Eisenbach's knights. As for now, you will be locked in one of the wagons as we make our way towards Altdorf. Yeah, and that's essentially it. Krieger and his men have been escorted by a couple of Jan's guards and Eisenbach's knights. Of course, after being completely stripped from their weapons. A couple of other hammer bearers just doused the whole thing in oil and lit the match, burning this foul altar to some horrible ruinous power.
Stand and watch him burn.
Yeah, the flies are long gone, but even burning, you can smell the horrible stench that it's emitting. Jan and Jan and Helmut thanked you. You have done very well, says Helmut, and pats each of you on the shoulder. Karl is very lucky to have. What? What was that? Okay. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or maybe a clown. Karl is very lucky to have guardians like you. Thank you, friends. Yes, you have done very well, says Jan. But now we must go back on the road, Helmut. Altdorf awaits. The destiny of the child awaits him there. Yes, indeed. Come on, let's move. And with that, you return to the Crusade, and you move out once again. A long line of thousands of refugees moving towards the capital of the empire, singing, praising the child, laughing, sobbing, dying, and just moving as this just one long line of madness, despair, but also hope. So, like I said before, Vrentar, Leopold, and Nils are up front, while the rest of you essentially can go wherever you want and do whatever you want. So my question is, are you doing something like, something not characteristic, but constructive, yeah, or are we just like walking?
I don't think Vincent has anything in particular to do. I guess this is kind of the point where if they need to catch up on a meal, you would, that type of, just like the basic daily administrative stuff, that's what you would be doing, but otherwise, there's not really anything that Vincent has to do at the moment.
Okay, sure. Well, yes.
I mean, a real world zombie, not an old world.
Yeah, sure. So, all right. Okay, so you just walk along with the Crusade. Each of you, I mean, Vincent, Lucas, and Dieter, just roll for perception once, each of you, please. Okay, no.
Okay, I would still pass my perception.
Yeah.
I very miss.
All right. Right. So Dieter.
Just talking.
Yes.
Definitely.
Dieter and Lucas, you've once again you've spotted the strange people with boils watching you. While the afternoon shift, which consisted of, I believe, who was it? Afternoon shift. It was.
That's a good question.
It was, I think, Dieter and.
Well, I thought it was Leopold, but then you sent Leopold.
Oh, okay. So in that case, okay. So it's Dieter and Leopold for the afternoon. Okay, yeah. Sorry. So Leopold wasn't on the morning shift. Sure. So it's Dieter and Leopold. Dieter and Leopold, you were, as you, as you've changed shifts and you've started your afternoon shift. You were walking up front of the Crusade, where suddenly the Strigani boy approached you, carrying a very nice-looking shiny sword. And he's like, essentially he's offering to sell it to you for a pretty reasonable price. But before he can make a sale, an angry crusader sees him and shouts at him to give him his sword back. "Why, you little Strigani rat!" he says. And the child whimpered, dropped the sword, and he sprinted off into the direction of the main body of the Crusade. The cultist shouts, anti-Strigani slurs after him, which I'm not going to say here because, but you can just imagine what he's shouting after him. He then, of course, picks the sword and just, looks at you, nods because you are obviously rather important since you're guarding the coach, and then walks away. After that, you've been told by one of the guards, by one of the knights, Eisenbach's knights, to not let anyone so close to the coach ever again. But but that was the only interesting thing that happened to you throughout the entire day. Like I said, other than the strange, not even people, the glimpses of the strange people with boils who are just observing you from the crowds. So, like I said before, you've changed shifts a couple of times. Oh, by the way, I was mistaken before. Krieger and his men will be locked in a tent only, for the night when the crusade stops. Right now, throughout the entire day, they have just been detained in one of the wagons, enclosed wagons, of course, and guarded by the militia, by the camp's militia. No one was allowed to speak to them or to even see them. They were given rations and water for the whole trip, and that was that. So, do you guys want to discuss? Evening comes, and the evening shift is probably the lightest in many ways because it just consists of patrolling the inner perimeter of the compound. This task is left for Vincent and Lucas, who are both rather sick. While the rest of you, you just cook your meals. Like I've said before, you are given essentially 2 free meals per day from the Crusade stores, but they are very lean, and it's clear to you that when you finally reach Altdorf, the camp's provisions will be, well, maybe not spent completely, but they will be very close to, just being gone. By the way, if you are interested, Krieger and his men, when you've camped for the night, they have been put in the tent number 10 on the map. I'm going to here. Okay, Vincent and Lucas. Nothing happened throughout during your entire shift. So you've returned to the camp, to the guys. Nils made sure that they've left you some buckwheat with onions and potatoes and carrots, stuff like that. Not really, but you know.
You're saying that Karl is not providing well enough for his game master?
Yeah.
Are you criticizing
I'm always
what Karl has given us?
I'm always criticizing, of course.
Carl's bounty.
uh,
Lucas goes off to rat you out.
yeah. So anyway, it's late at night, and you are essentially sitting in your tent because your shift ended, guys, and you can just discuss stuff, what happened, or you can just go to bed. Like I said, you are all very tired, especially Vincent and Lucas.
Yeah, I mean, I think Lucas would go to bed.
Are
Honestly.
they still essentially keeping us locked?
You can't. Yeah, you can leave the. I mean, no, you can leave the tent. You can leave the premises of the compound.
Okay. So I was going to discuss whoever's staying awake. Just some things about the day, seen and compare notes. Anybody else see any of those oil people today?
Vincent nods. No.
Nods in the negatory.
Yep. Negatively nods.
I think I saw something, right?
Yeah, you did.
Earlier today. Yeah, so we gotta be careful. I still, they're not getting close enough to us to question. They're definitely watching us. And Krieger's men aren't nice, right? Do they have horses?
No, not Krieger's men. Eisenbach's men. Krieger's men are spearmen.
Okay. I might see. I might see if I can go to the corral area and see what see if I can figure anything out. And did anybody else see any of the Strigony besides
He
Gold and myself?
he only harassed you today.
I might try to figure out what their deal is again tomorrow during my off shift time. But so nobody else has seen anything or anything suspicious during their shift. Okay.
Other
I'll
than
take your silence.
other than that, I think might want to have a discussion about that. I've been trying to go off and find my own little investigations here and there. So I don't. This might be more apparent to Lucas, but I don't know how in or out of days he is. But Vincent tends to disappear every so often on his own. Then returns back at random. Fortunately, no.
Vincent and Mystery Woman sitting in a tree.
Hey, I have both of those on. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I don't know if that makes them trust you more. Okay, so
But no, I haven't. Now that was out of character. But yeah, Vincent says something.
the question that comes to my mind though is we've been asked by several different people to watch for cultists and specifically their creatures, but and we now have some evidence. But is somebody trying to set him up, or is he truly impossible? That's the question that I have in my mind right now.
Brentar?
I miss my solitude. Never have these problems in the cave. But
You
this is the
you don't miss you don't miss your solitude because when you were living in solitude you didn't have Karl. You know.
Yeah, like that's where I'm at now basically.
Yeah.
Well, that I'm going to go see if I can glean anything from the.
I don't know what we are worried about, says Leopold Faldebrand. Helmut said that Krieger is guilty, he is guilty. Helmut speaks with the voice of Karl, he is his tutor. Why are we worrying about this? You see that Nils just looks at him, looks at you, and looks at his feet, doesn't say anything, but he's, it's clear that he's unhappy with what is going on.
Karl's safety is our number one concern. And though Karl's right-hand man may say things are safe, we must look past his words and make sure that he too isn't behind anything nefarious.
Yeah. Well, I guess you're right.
Never be too sure with these cultists. They're everywhere. Peter looks around at everybody.
Nils, looks at you just... I hope that you don't accuse us of anything, Master Grunwald.
No, we just have to be we have to reach on our guard.
Showed up a couple days ago.
Hey, you guys don't have to be very
Looking like Steve Buscemi, dressed like a young person.
Looking wizard hat.
Hello, fellow students. Right. So, what are you doing, Dieter?
I want to excuse myself from the tent and go to the corral and try out my trinket and see if I can glean anything from horses.
Okay.
Whoa! Did you say horses?
Yes.
Is this a trinket in your pocket that you keep playing with? No vision?
Yes.
If you're trying to clean anything from the horses, I heard you can clean up to about a bucket or so, like 3 or 4 gallons.
Just don't approach him, but from behind. You can lean it.
Best know if you find any left-handed gloves.
Sing to him first.
Alright, so, Dieter, you move out from the tent and go towards the corral, while the rest of you remain in the tent. And the rest of you, I presume, just probably go to sleep or wait for him.
I think it's on Vincent's state. He'd probably be passing out whether he wants to or not.
Yeah. Well, yes, you don't feel that well, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm not sure Luke even made it this long. Made it to the whole conversation, to be quite honest.
Yeah. You see that Nils and Leopold just, went to sleep. Vrentar, what about you?
I try to sleep, but like this much political intrigue and everything is kind of taxing on me, and I'm trying to catch up. So
I get it.
Rentar's not used to this much back and forth and backstabbing and shit.
Yeah, yeah, you are certainly not. This wasn't something, this isn't something that you are well versed in, unfortunately. That said, you are making progress. Dieter, you've moved to the coral. The coral is, well, it's, of course you smell it before you even approach it. You smell the reek of manure and dung. There are,
Morale.
yeah, sorry, coral. Yeah, it's not coral because coral is in oceans. Yeah,
Right.
coral.
Can't you master a second language better?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm trying. Yeah. There's more than dozen horses inside, and they all, some of them are of course sleeping on their while standing because horses do that. Other are just sipping water from the water thingy that horses sip from. Trough, thank you. Yeah, they some of them look at you with their big dark eyes.
Big stupid horse eyes.
Yes, they are. Remember, Dieter, they are your brothers from the wild places. They are your homies.
So I try to put them at ease. I don't think I have any sugar cubes or anything.
No, no, no.
So I try to
And,
do.
and honestly, if you did, you'd probably been dead for.
Probably.
Out of character, what kind of wizard are you?
Amber.
Amber Wizard.
Emperor. Okay. I know nothing about this, so this is interesting.
I work with ground wind.
Sounds like a normal thing.
I know, like, no wonder you found that other thing so They just say
Because I got have to get things brought up in college. We have to drop this for thing.
All right. All right.
So I'm gonna pull that thing out of my pocket here in my neck and see if I can.
It's so long. You can.
We're gonna put a skull behind one of the horses.
Right. You pull out the necklace.
wait, he's been talking about the ground wind.
You pull out the necklace. You put it around your neck. You never feel any like surge of power, any strange feeling. It just immediately works. Hunger. Eat. Eat. Men. We must eat. We must drink. We must ride, but not today. Ride fast. The men order us. Ride. Eat now. He looks. Eat. Drink. Sleep. 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 Eat.
Well, that was descriptive.
Yeah, just basically, basically today. So I'm excused. You practically only hear this, as well as some strange, unpleasant screams from birds, from evening birds flying overhead. Screams like you don't really like cities, as you're Amber Wizard, but for some reason the screams remind you of someone being assaulted in a city alley. Yeah. But you do know that you need to test willpower now. Yep.
Of course.
Luck?
I don't know. But yeah, I will. Spend my luck.
Okay. Okay, so unfortunately for your trouble, you gain 2. This time, wearing this thing was more taxing than before, and you can, even when you came back to the tent, you can feel your head aching, and you have, when you finally go to sleep, you have dreams of screaming birds trying to murder you.
That goddamn white snake song was screaming.
Yeah, is this love that I'm feeling?
The other one, yeah.
Here I go again.
Here I go
Wait,
again.
my own. Yeah.
Sorry, that's what your description was.
Yes.
In a very sarcastic.
Mood. Yeah. You're a snarky bastard. Today. I mean, your character is not you, Andy. Don't take this the wrong way.
Always.
Okay. So you are. So anyway, when Dieter returned, all of you practically went to sleep. As like I said, the whole journey to Altdorf is really taxing and very very exhausting. But of course, you do this for Karl, the light of your life, Sigma Reborn. Unfor-
When you're dreaming of that song, it's Karl on the hood of the Camry, not Tommy the Tank.
All right. However, at midnight, you've been woken up by horrible screams and the clash of weapons. Quick, what do you do?
Stand up, draw my sword, and step out the tent.
All right. Rentar, Lucas.
Same.
Yeah, I grab my hammer and go.
All right. You emerge from your tent. The sounds come from the tent where Krieger and his men are held. Do you make your way there? You can see that the whole compound is in uproar, and more and more guards converge on the position of Krieger's tent.
What's the galaxy move to Karl's tent?
It's along the way, as you can see.
Well, I think I would still be more focused on.
Actually, you want to go to Krieger's tent.
Chugga, 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 Sorry.
No worries, the train has no brakes. So, you feel an urge to see.
Okay.
You move quickly towards the tent to see what is going on, and you see that a terrible battle is taking place. Krieger and his men have ripped out of the tent, and they scream in agony and rage as buboes, and boils erupt on their skin, and they grow hideous mutations. They lash out at their captors, who fearfully hug them down. You see that on the sidelines, Helmut and Jan watch, aghast. Jan screams, "You see? Prove that they were cultists! The curse of their god has come upon them!" You see that Krieger and his men are also unarmed, and would be, just in a few seconds it will all be over. Do you rush to help, or are you just standing there and watch? Like I said, in front of your eyes, these men rapidly mutate. It's like they are sprouting new mutations with every second. Tentacles, fur, extra limbs, boils, mainly, boils, buboes, plague-related mutations. The guards who are hacking them down are horrified, but they are still doing their duty. So, are you standing and watching this?
I think Lucas would stand and watch so long as the guards win.
It's obvious that the guards are winning. Krieger and his men will be dead in a few seconds.
Yeah, I think I would sheath my sword at this point if it looks like it's in full control.
Alright.
I think.
Dieter?
Dieter was thinking that maybe he would try to cast magic dart and blast.
Okay, sure. What about you, Rentar?
I'm not gonna get involved if it's under control.
Alright. Nils and Leopold also do not act, but especially Nils, he's taking this very badly, and Leopold, looks at this whole thing with undisguised hatred in his eyes and curses under his breath. After all, this is, in this way his sister died, in a similar way. Dieter, you try to summon Gur, the amber wind, into your body, and then, just use it to send a devastating spell. You can channel and then cast if you wish so.
Yeah, okay.
Alright, so roll for channeling. It's willpower test.
Yeah, I think I have it.
You must have it. Yeah, okay. You've managed to channel the power, and then, you aim at one of the guards, well, at one of the halberdiers, Krieger's halberdiers, and just, unleash it. Now, how many dice are you using to cast this?
I'm trying to remember. I think double was that, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. I feel like 2 dice.
All right.
Right. Why not?
Roll 2d10s.
Die roller. 10.
Nice. You have unfortunately failed, but and something went wrong. Because when you've unleashed the power, you've also felt something. You felt that you've lost control a bit, and that a bit part was all that you needed. First of all, roll 10% for the magic mark. Yeah, and we are only.
Hey.
No mark for you. Nice. No mark for you, unfortunately. Wait a second. Oh, this is. Dude.
Sorry guys, I just
Yeah, and that you will. You're not wounded, right? You're not wounded, right?
no, I'm not.
All right. So that's good. So now let's see what we have. You failed the spell because it didn't went off. Okay, so it's 10. All right. That. Now I'm gonna roll this d100 and add. Nothing bad will happen to you. You, all of you, you saw that Dieter, the mysterious Amber Wizard, stood next to you, and he began to just make those strange arcane symbols in the air with his hands and speak in a language that you've never heard before. Because you are all together, and you know that he's preparing to unleash his magic. He's preparing to deliver Karl's justice on the vile Krieger and his mutated men. And then his bowels they've erupted. The stream of feces was was apocalyptic. Dieter, you've lost control completely. You've soiled yourself horribly without, you can't even control it. You just shat all over your legs, boots if you wear any, I don't know, and all over the ground. Sandals, alright, so your sandals are filled with shit. Leopold and Nils jumped away from you. Leopold just cursing. But the worst part is that you saw that nothing happened. He just made those stupid gestures and then he shot himself. And it's like. Yeah, the spray of shit is quite impressive. We are talking about like 1.5 meters. It's you think you see pieces of buckwheat flying in a few directions. Yeah, so that was it. But Vrentar, you've averted your eyes from seeing your comrade just losing all of his dignity in front of you. And once again, you've turned your eyes towards Krieger, and as you see that one of Jan's men cuts him down. He looks at you, Krieger looks at you, and calls out to you, "A rat! A rat! Villainy!" And then, he's been cut down and lies dead with his men. Yeah.
The pants shitting really does put the face involved.
Yeah. So, it's like, yeah, Dieter is like, "This is serious, you guys. This is serious, you guys, alright?"
Super serious.
I'm serious.
Lucas is kind of wondering if he meant that Dieter was the rat.
Yeah, so that's that.
Peter waddles over to someplace and waves. Walk down the road.
Yeah, the rest of you, especially you, Vrentar, since you've heard what Krieger said to you when he was dying, essentially, I don't know if you've caught it, it was a rat, villainy. And, a rat, villainy. You see that, of course, Krieger and his men were cut down in front of their tent, which has been, to which entrance has been completely ripped. Are you doing anything? Same goes to Vincent and Lucas.
I think at this point Lucas would probably go back to bed.
All right.
Like I said, he's sick, he's injured, he doesn't have the wherewithal to care.
All right.
What's Krieger's rival doing? Like, is he in the crowd watching?
You mean Jan? Jan stands with Helmut, and you see that there's this, phase of righteous justice. He has this face of righteous justice, like all of his suspicions have been basically confirmed.
Suddenly the wind changes, his face changes.
Yeah. Yes. Well, Vincent, what about you?
I think Vincent will just kind of walk towards, make sure everything in Karl's tent is in order. Nothing fishy in it.
Yeah, you saw that when this whole business with Krieger happened, of course, the car stand is being still protected by Helmut's hammer bearers and a couple of Jan's guards, as well as Eisenbach's knights. They are all, they've just created a wall of steel and armor in front of the entrance.
Okay, and then one of the tents that they killed the mutants, is that being guarded as well?
No. You see that Jan's men and a couple of militia are just making sure that the mutants are killed. The tent is not guarded in any way. The front has been completely torn away.
I might investigate that.
All right, Vrentar, what about you?
I'm just gonna watch the crowd clear out.
Well, the crowd gathered in front of the entrance to the compound, but of course, the guards there, Eisenbach's spearmen are preventing them from entering and saying that everything is fine. Karl is safe. Go back to your tents. Nothing to see here. Stuff like that.
Like, see if there's any, like, oil people.
You don't see it from here. Remember, it's midnight, and even with the torches, you don't see the details from where you're standing right now. You'd have to come a lot closer.
Yeah, that'd be a good point to, like, even inspect some of the mutants to see if they share the same oils. I imagine they didn't they? Can you explain that they did?
No,
Oh, just that they erupted in boils, but not
yeah, boils, like general boils. Yeah. Vrentar, you are, trying to salvage what little dignity you have and just, find a place to bathe. Dieter, sorry. By the way, what were you dressed in? Because I don't really. I mean, your picture shows me a guy who is half naked, but I presume that you have some pants on you or furs or something like that.
Yeah. No, I do have. Oh, he wears
Just a hat.
heavy. Yeah. Yeah.
How do you think he got a meter and a half worth of distance?
He's Donald Ducking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Middle of the night. Some people only sleep in their half capes.
Well, he only has robes, a smock, and a vest.
So your robes are completely solid. Just so you know. Yeah, they are. Well, yeah, they are solid. You would have to spend a lot of time washing them, and even then, you're not sure if you would remove the stains of your last meal. Yeah.
The stains just
By the way, that was that was the first time you've used magic. I foresee a great future for your magician. Oh shit! All right, Vincent, you approach the tent. I presume.
Yes.
You enter inside.
Yeah. If there's really, if I'm not, no guards telling me that I can. Like,
No.
I'm kind of approaching it with the assumed authority that I'm still,
All right.
holding that pulse.
You approach the tent. Roll for perception, because it's dark inside, even with the torn away. You know.
Is there any torches or anything I can
No,
on the way?
no, not nearby, unfortunately. You rummage through the tent. Well, rummage. You just walk. You've walked inside the tent and move your way in deeper. When suddenly you've kicked something wet and squelchy. You look down and you see that you've stepped on a rat, a dead rat, and even in this dim light coming from the outside, you can see that it's horribly diseased and hopping with fleas. Now, roll me a d10. Nice. You've managed to, move away from the rat just before any of the fleas landed on you. The rat is big, fat, but it's also covered. It looks similar to the sheep found in the woods. It's covered in boils. It's horribly mutated. You see that it has 2 tails, 5 legs. Just some horrible growths and lesions covering its body. It's in the middle. It's in the middle of the tent.
Okay. I want to yell in here. So, I'm assuming there was a crowd of guards outside. I want to yell, kind of call them.
The guard.
Is it dead? Is it a body?
It's dead. Yeah.
I'm so gonna call in here.
The
hoping that one of them will bring kind of a torch in
yeah
to
the
investigate.
one. Few of the guards come inside. Eisenbach's spearman. Helmut also comes inside. What is going on here? He asks, and then in the light of one of the guards' torches, they see the rat, and they are move away from it quickly. Helmut cries. Jan looks from behind him, and he shouts, "Krieger's familiar, burn it!" And one of the guards just quickly does so. He throws the torch at the thing, and it just catches fire. Yeah.
Is the light of a burning rat and the torches, is there anything else of concern in this tent as far as...
No. There were a few blankets, horribly mangled and torn and showing signs of being splattered with bodily fluids. You guess that when Krieger and his men began mutating, they were sleeping and they just, soiled the blankets horribly. Other than that, there's nothing here. Right. Yeah.
Is there a? Just looking for a sword. Would
Mm.
there ever be a sword in there?
No, no. There's no. These men were prisoners. They were.
Oh, they were the ones arrested. Okay.
Yeah.
Right? They're
Yes. 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 Yes.
right. Right.
Yeah. Right. That's it. You hear a voice from behind, and you see that it's one of Eisenbach's knights. Go back to your tents, and those of you who have posts, go back to your posts. We will burn this tent completely. Yeah.
At this point, sheathe his sword.
Yeah.
He would have had it out.
Yeah. Sure. And so with that, I guess you guys, including Vrentar, return to your tent. You as well, Dieter, after you've cleaned yourself as best as you could. Remember, there is no well here, so you only managed to like grab a small like wineskin of water and just splash yourself. But you would still need a river to wash, or or a bath. Unfortunately.
As we go to fuck this place, I'm gonna go sit in a cross.
You wouldn't be allowed, and I mean you wouldn't do that because you're an amber wizard,
Right, no,
Yeah.
Some,
Yeah, we talked to the orcs.
Yeah. So you return to your tent. When Dieter enters, you can smell him rather strongly. Um, I I mean Leopold.
Like the sign of the hammer.
Yeah.
this is the odor of pie.
Lucas, you've even woken up when when the wizard entered with his legs still covered in the brown stuff.
I'm trying to think if Alvar.
Lucas points to the other side of the tent.
Over there, you see already Leopold lies on the ground and he's brandishing a knife. No, he says, over there.
Might suggest that you sleep on the
Outside.
outside the door there.
Yes. You actually don't have anything left, to just unload. So, but yeah, you go sleep outside. It's actually pretty warm, so
Hey, can we take a coffee break?
Yeah, but before we do, I want you, Lucas, and you, Vincent, to roll me toughness with your modifiers. So, like, yeah. Wow.
Oh, even with my modifier, I passed.
Yeah. All right. You're using your last luck.
Well, I only have one,
Yeah.
so I feel like that would be reckless if I use it.
Okay.
All the negative modifiers burn everything.
So you have minus 20% to all stats.
I'll use a luck.
No, not you, Vrentar.
Oh.
You're not sick.
My luck back?
Yeah, of course. You haven't spent it. All right, so we take a coffee break and we'll be back in a few. Okay? Cool.
Well, I guess anything hot with like iced tea, maybe.
I don't know, because I don't drink iced tea, so I've never asked either of my coworkers about that. That's a good point. I'll have to ask.
'Cause I know some tea has caffeine, but then again, like sodas all have caffeine. So.
Right. Well, they're allowed to drink sodas, although from my understanding, some people don't. Or
Yeah.
in fact, quite a few don't, because they feel like what you would really get now is caffeine, and so they don't drink sodas either. But I don't know.
Yeah, it just kind of depends on how. Now, does the Mormon Church have like a hierarchy?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that they have like a quote unquote pope,
Yeah,
but
bishops.
I know they have like a structure that is, um, it's not like say Islam, right, which has like just a bunch of random preachers essentially equivalents, right, and then these guys decide what it means. But I also don't know that it's as fully developed as say the Catholic Church. Yeah,
I can't get into coffee. I would like to because I think it'd be better because I get caffeine from other things that are more sugary, and I would like
Right.
to get off of that.
Well, that's actually why I switched, because I didn't start drinking coffee until I was
Yeah, same here.
but I was basically drinking way too much soda, and I just either my teeth were gonna rot out or I was gonna end up with kidney stones.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. Like I'm trying to steer a little more healthier in all things, and it's one of those I should try to get the coffee, and it hasn't been working out very well.
All right, so like a few years ago, I had a cavity, right? And I was like, what the hell? I'm taking care of my teeth. I had a cavity in years. I was drinking full throttle with Red Bull, right? And the dentist said switch to sugar free. So I said okay. I switched to sugar free. The following year I had 4 cavities. I'm like, yeah, I've been drinking sugar free Red Bull, and it was a different dentist. He's like, yeah, that's way worse than the regular stuff. It's way more acidic. So like he was like, basically just start drinking coffees. I'm like, god damn it. Like,
Of course, coffee's gonna turn your teeth brown, but
yeah, but that you can manage. You can whiten your teeth. I mean, the like Red Bull, sugar free or not, it'll rot your teeth out.
Yeah. Maybe I should just.
they've got a lot of studies lately that have found that basically diet drinks are even worse for you than just drinking sugar.
Yeah, because all the other sweeteners I don't think are very super good. Like it's a different issue.
Right. Well, and in some cases, like your body. So not only do you have all those different issues, but your body can't tell them apart, and so it thinks you're getting sugar, so it starts acting like it's sugar. So it basically starts converting crap to fat that it didn't need to do, and it's basically it's no better, and you get these additional other issues.
Yeah, I think my concern is primarily a teeth type of thing. Um, I don't do a lot of sugar outside of like soda and like I try to do. It's probably like they're like energy drinks that probably have a mix of sugar and additive sweeteners because like they're not. It's like the Mountain Dew Kickstarts and they have like a third of the sugar of a regular Coke, and so I kind of feel like, well, that's good, but it's still
The acid's terrible. Like the acid
Yeah.
works all sugar.
it's all the carbonation and that type of stuff. So I don't know. Maybe I'll try drinking cream with coffee and then kind of convert to coffee with cream or something.
Well, and but I mean, it took me a little while, and I definitely, use more cream than I probably need to. But that said, like if I order coffee and like say Dunkin' Donuts, the standard amount of cream they put in there is fine. So I'm not like at this point anyway over drinking the cream. But I basically got to the point where I was drinking a Mountain Dew and thinking to myself, I need something a little sweeter than this. I realized that Mountain Dew is not sweet enough.
I'm back.
I had worn my palate up so bad that I need to reevaluate what I like.
So, are we up? Everyone is here?
I think we're waiting for
Yeah,
Sean.
I'm here. I'm just messing with kids.
Mad Tax
My
Halloween.
my lunch break.
Mm.
I'm
Oh yeah.
actually eating a hamburger with a cheese and egg waffle as a bonus.
Wow.
By the way, so do y'all do Halloween like we do, or do they do it celebrate it differently there, or has
W-
American television made it exactly like ours?
The American television made it like yours, but the church, which in Poland is like a second state, really frowns upon Halloween here. Yeah, and we actually Poland and Slavic countries had this. Well, Poland had this very ancient pre-Christianity holiday called Dziady. It's like the closest word in your language. I guess it would be the old people, and the holiday is basically this. It's just honoring the dead, honoring your ancestors. But it's cool because it's a very no, it's a rather joyous holiday. I mean, it's solemn, but for example, during Jadu you can also eat, and actually people often go because some people still celebrate them. People often go to visit the graves with food and drink. Yeah.
That sounds a lot like Day of the Dead. I guess.
Yes, but, well, we don't. There are no masks. There is no music. There is nothing like that. But you eat sweets. You eat meats. You drink a bit of tea or coffee. Sometimes people take some light beer with them. Stuff like that.
Do you celebrate All Saints Day? 'Cause it kind of sounds similar to that. Well, I think it's probably the closest thing to that.
When is it?
It's the day after Halloween. I think it's November 1st.
Yeah, I mean our Day of the Dead is on November 1st. Exactly.
That's kind of what I'm
Yeah.
wondering if it was. That's kind of where we got ours.
Yeah, and it's even called the same here, All Saints Day, Dzień Wszystkich Świętych, which means the exact same thing.
Okay. Just curious.
Yeah.
It's a religious holiday here, so
Yeah.
know it.
So not many people do it.
Okay, day 3, morning came, and with
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Before you get started, I was thinking I wanted to ask this.
Sure.
If you don't want to give me the answer, that's totally fine. But I just want to know what I'm shooting for here. Will, like, in all these dice rolls you're having me make and stuff, will there be a point where I can actually start getting better, or am I just pretty much trying to, or do you not want to tell me?
I shouldn't really tell you that.
Okay.
But if you want to change character, we can from the next session you can change your character. No problem.
No. I'm going to take it to the end, but I just wanted to know for hope's sake, if that makes sense.
Okay. I can't really answer that question. Yeah.
Not a problem. I kind of figured that was the answer, but I figured I'd ask anyway because there's no harm in being told or in asking and being told you can't tell.
Yeah, sure. Always ask if you have any if you have any questions. That's the way to go. Um, yeah. Yes. Well, yeah. You actually believe that Karl will heal you, or maybe he's even healing you. Oh, by the way, Jason, it was my bad. You were supposed to charge into combat with Krieger and his men because of your illness. After all, you are invincible.
Well, yeah, but I was invincible, but it was a one anyway.
Yeah. Just for future reference. Anyway,
Yeah. So am I battle hungry, or do I just think I'm invincible? Because those are two different things.
you think nothing can harm you.
Yeah.
Read the description of the illness. It's in the rule book. I believe it's savior, something savior in English. Which means that you believe that Karl will that Karl's power will prevent any harm coming to you, and you won't be able to fall in battle, fall to illness. Nothing will happen to you because you are Karl's chosen.
But I guess I didn't see that as also just like if the battle looked like it was not going to be over in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And
Anyway, well, with the unpleasantness of the previous night behind you, the Crusaders of the Child prepare for their arrival at Altdorf, putting on their best clothes and, decorating their cars with banners, ribbons, and paper hearts and hammers. Everyone is in cheerful mood as you make your way towards the capital, which slowly begins to loom in the distance. Certain that Karl will be welcomed into the city, his divinity, of course, immediately recognized by Grand Theogenist Volkmar, and that Karl Franz will announce him as heir to the throne of the Empire. You get underway, and the whole the whole Crusade plays music and sings happy Karl songs. Your watches, go as usual, at least to the afternoon, unless you guys want, something specific to do, then we can just move forward. If you want something specific to do, then please tell me. Remember that first Vrentar and Nils are on watch, then it's Dieter and Leopold, and then it's it's Vincent and Lucas.
We're still out in the middle, like in the woods.
Yeah, but you are actually no. You are still in the woods, but you've been told that in a few hours, like it will be it will still be early morning. Late morning, when you will actually reach Altdorf city.
Oh,
Like I said, do you guys want to do anything, or are we just moving forward?
moving forward.
Yeah, I just wanted to, when I'm not on watch, see if I can find the street.
Well, you're not on watch during the morning, so you can search for the Striani. Cheers. Vrentar, you and Nils are on watch, like I've said, and Lucas and Vincent. Are you?
Lucas is just gonna. Lucas has in his mind, I think, that when we get to the city, maybe he could get in and see the healer.
Yeah. If Karl allows it, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
So in his mind, that's kind of like he's walking. Yeah. Focus on walking. Focus on getting there.
Yeah. Vincent?
I think Vincent is, I guess, content with everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
doesn't have anything.
You, by the way, you, Vincent, feel like a lot worse than. Yeah, a lot worse than Lucas. After all, you have minus 20% to all stats, and Lucas only has minus 15. So, you make your way forward. Like I said, the atmosphere, despite Kruger's grisly demise, is very joyful, very jubilant. You almost like believe that, although you do believe that all those people will actually have their wrongs righted, that they will start new and wonderful lives under the aegis of Karl, that they will return to normality, that they will have good and decent existence in this harsh and unforgiving world. As you make your way out of the forest to the fields outside Altdorf, you see the city itself. The capital of the empire is magnificent to behold. Its mighty walls, inscribed with dwarven runes, are enormous, are gigantic, and you can see the smoke coming from thousands of chimneys, and what's the word? Not factories, but shops. Well, you know what I mean. The forges, smithies, stuff like that. You can, as funny as that sounds, you can also smell Altdorf rather well. Even though you've been walking with those people for a few days now, and the stench here is overwhelming, Altdorf's stench rivals it, and it catches to you, and you can smell the horrible smell of like many thousands of people living so close together that it's probably unimaginable. as well as living close to a large body of water. You can smell the dampness. You can smell the rotten, like the water, like this watery, rotting smell. Dieter, for example, you don't even mind anymore, the state of your bottom half, because you are probably not the worst smelling part of the party right now. I mean, you are, but there are worse things around you that smell far, far worse, including the wind coming to you towards from the Altdorf direction. You've halted in the fields outside Altdorf, and the Crusaders began to, they've started to just break camp. You can, even from here, you can see that on the walls of the city, which Lucas, and Vincent, they remind you of Naun, that, this city to the south that you've all started your adventures in so long ago, in a different lifetime. You can even from here see that on the city walls, hundreds of soldiers prepared themselves and just observe the whole crusade. You don't have to be strategists to know that quite a few cannons are aimed your way, and that those soldiers there probably have handguns, bows, and crossbows. But nothing happens, and in the late morning a delegation from the Altdorf City Council comes to see Helmut and Jan, asking them, you've heard from other guards and other inner from other compound people that they've asked them to bypass Altdorf, and they've even offered a substantial bribe to go to Talheim instead. But Helmut refused, and it was said that the delegation warned that Karl will be shot if he approaches the gates, which of course is outrageous. A stage and food and drink tents have also been erected for a fair and rally. And in the afternoon, when your shift changes and Dieter and Leopold take up their shift, Jan, Helmut and Eisenbach approached the Empire Gate, the largest northern landside entrance to the city, a massive, heavily guarded, fortified gate. And the delegation is escorted by Eisenbach's knights. And actually, if any of you wish to go, you can actually go. Even those of you on duty, but bear in mind that Karl does not to the gates of the city. But Karl does not go. Karl stays in the tent. That said, all of you, for your actions against Krieger, are offered to join the inner council in approaching the Empire Gate.
Yeah, I think Lucas would want to go because he would want to see in.
Yeah.
All right.
Vince had goals to go to Altdorf, so obviously he's got other priorities, but if those priorities allow him to go to the gates, he will.
All right. Dieter, yes. Yeah, go.
If it's my turn to watch Karl, that's the only thing I'm concerned about.
You're not watching Karl. You are just patrolling the compound.
Okay.
Other people are watching Karl. You haven't actually saw Karl for like a day and a half now.
Well, if we're allowed to go, I'd like to go.
Yeah, Leopold and Reluctant Nils also wish to go. Vrentar, what about you?
I don't want to split the party up, but I feel like for my character it would make more sense to stay at the camp.
Alright. Okay, sure. You decide to stay in the camp. Alright, so you all of you except Vrentar, remember that you're not on duty. So you can, either rest, or you can just move within the inner compound's premises. The rest of you,
I guess the way I'm looking at it is that what I came to Altdorf for is already in the camp. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah, you've already found your the sense of your life, honestly.
And I don't like cities.
Yeah. Well, same with you, Dieter. Remember that cities for the Amber College are like wounds on nature, and Altdorf is the biggest city of them all. That said, you do approach the gate, uh, and the Empire Gate opens up, and a company of halberdiers and crossbowmen. Well, actually, the company of halberdiers marches outside, and at the front marches a corpulent man dressed in a very fine clothing. You can also see that a rather large unit on the walls, rather large unit of crossbowmen, aims their weapons towards you. When the man approaches, Helmut comes out to meet him. Welcome. We bring to you. I'm probably not going to say this in person because I think that I would probably make a poor job. I'm just going to tell you that he makes a very grand speech to the councilman, and he says that the heir of Sigmar arrived, and that surely the emperor and Grand Theogonist must see him. The councilman very politely listened to him, and then told him that unfortunately Karl, Franz, and Volkmar are too busy, and that the delegation should come back again next week. And the 50 or so halberdiers in red and blue uniforms, armed to the teeth, because we are talking about outdoor halberdiers, so they are, no expenses spared on them, as well as same number of crossbowmen aiming their crossbows at you, make a rather good point. And so the delegation returns to camp, angry and frustrated, and you see that actually, Jan seems more resigned than the others, probably because, within the week, all of your provisions will most certainly run out, and he's responsible for them. Right, so you return to the camp, and you guys can return to Rentar, who's still in his still in your tent. But before you do, all of you, except Rentar, except you, Brian, make a +30 perception test. Nice. Oh, Sean is... you've botched, Sean. You want to spend... You want to spend luck?
Sean's diarrhea is back.
Alright, I'll Alright, well, now I just failed.
Alright. So you failed. So who passed? Vincent passed and Lucas passed. As you are walking through the crowd of Crusaders, preparing to most certainly welcome many Altdorfers who come outside to see what is going on with food and drink, you hear word Tobias from nearby. When you look around, as you've heard this word, you see a familiar figure. It is a man that you've came to know. Well, actually, you've heard of him, but you even saw him a couple of times. The man is named Butcher Groff, a butcher who's supplying the Crusade with meat. People generally bring him game or liberated, quote-unquote, cattle. He chops the meat up, keeps part of it to himself, and gives the rest to the people who brought him the meat. He, among other people, he supplies Karl's bounty with the meat. He's a very liked man, and generally, the Crusaders hold him in very high esteem. He's very friendly and jovial. He's also a monster of a man. He's just gigantic, very very muscled, and he's got a substantial belly. You see that he's speaking to one of Jan van der Puur's guards in the gap between two closely set tents. Groff, and you hear him saying, "Tell Tobias the soup is ready. The death has become the plague. When should I make the meal?" Jan's guard replies, "I'll ask him and tell you when I come for the meat order." You see that the two men part.
Okay, so wait, the soup, is that what he said? Was that the meal he referred to?
Tell Tobias the soup is ready. The death
S-O-U-P.
yes, soup. Yeah.
Okay.
The death has become the plague. When should I make the meal? And he replies, Jan's guard, "I'll ask him and tell you when I come for the meat order." And then you see that they've parted ways.
Now, Jan, is he the one that told us to warn him of any conspiracies?
Yes, he's the fat merchant from Marienburg.
Okay, so, in that case, I'm not going to go tell him of any conspiracies. Was there somebody else Helmet? Yeah, I think that's what Lucas wanted to do. Because he's automatically going to assume that if it's one of what's his name, men, what's his name is involved too.
Tobias?
No, the guy that told us to come, Jan.
Jan.
Sorry, I'm terrible with names, especially because I missed like half of the thing when these people were introduced. So,
Well, yeah. So because we were seeing him talking to one of Jan's guards. So
Well,
Right.
first of all, remember that Dieter didn't hear that. Are you informing Dieter about it? Or are you just letting him go forward,
Well, no.
Why not?
I'm just for sake of helping him understand since
Yeah.
outside of the game he doesn't really know. I'm just letting him know.
Yeah, sure, but
Get what he said that he was talking to Jan's guard.
I'm just wondering
So
if...
I think what would happen is Lucas would be like, hey, did anybody else hear that? You know, after they got
Yeah.
away, that this giant ox of a man doesn't realize isn't going to know that they're talking about him. Then be like, hey, was I the only one who heard that? And then his suggestion is going to be to go to one of the other high-ranking.
Vincent disregards with you. Yeah, but Vincent disregards with you, Lucas. "We don't have any proof," he says. "We should either tail this man or go to Groff and see what he's up to."
Okay, let's do that. Let's.
Because that's our word against Jan's, and Jan is one of the inner circle. And so, yeah, so who are we following? Dieter?
Follow the butcher.
Right?
Should we split and have half of us follow the butcher and half of us watch the guard?
We know where the butcher operates. I think we should follow the guard, says Vincent.
Vincent or Leopold?
Vincent?
Follow the guard.
Vincent. I'm speaking as Vincent. Leopold is, well, I mean, he is with you, and he's like, oh yeah, I actually should have wrote for him. I mean, he's so insignificant and, like, bland compared to Gennaro that,
Okay, well, I'm just, you know, because
yeah.
the player's still here. So
Yeah, I know that he is.
why
I know that he is. uh,
sure.
yeah. Leopold is like, I don't know. You guys decide. And and Nils says, "All right, look, I can follow the butcher and watch his wagon. You guys follow the guard and then maybe meet me outside the wagon of Groff
Okay, sounds good.
and inform Vrentar if you can." Right. So, Nils goes after Groff towards his wagon, which, by the way, you know where it is because everyone knows. Like I said, Groff is a very known person in the Crusades encampment, while the rest of you follow Jan's guard, a man whom you've actually saw more than once, because Jan doesn't have that many guards. You follow him back to the Crusades encampment, and it's not very hard for you. And by the way, the man isn't trying to lose anyone. He isn't even looking around. He's just walking straight and through the encampment, and you see that he returns directly to Jan's tent. And then you also see that he almost immediately after that, like a minute or two after entering the tent, he emerges back and he once again moves towards the Karl's compound exit. Oh, by the way, at this point you all can leave the compound without any problems. Your probation time is over, so you are free to go wherever you want.
Okay, then yeah, I think we need to follow him outside because the other thing was outside, wasn't it? So,
Well, first of all, are you catching up with the with Rentar?
I mean, if it's been on the way, but I think this is probably more important.
Yeah, but I mean, your tent is right next to.
Right, as I was saying, if it's on the way, then
Yeah,
send somebody in to real quick to get it.
yeah. Because Jan's tent is number 13 on the map, which is right to the left side of the entrance to the compound. So you can just run to your tent, number 11, grab Rentar, and then move after the guard.
Yeah.
All right. Dieter, Vincent, you're cool with that?
Yes.
All right.
I am.
Dieter?
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to head with him and follow this guy.
All right. Rentar, you've been the guys enter the tent, and I guess that Vincent probably just tells something like, "Get up, we have something to do."
Okay, I stand up and I guess he's gonna explain it on the way.
Yeah, Vincent, explain the way. This time as you.
Alright, yeah, we overheard a discussion between Butcher and one of Jan's guards. They're speaking of spreading a plague to following the guard. Hurry up, get up before he lose track of it.
Yeah. That's basically it, Rentar. You've heard it for yourself from Vincent, who is you see that he's pretty sick, but he actually moves a bit faster. It's some kind of energy entered into him, probably because of the whole danger to Karl thing, you guess. Anyway, you tail Jan's guard as he makes his way through the Crusade. Through the muddy alleyways just created by by all the tents, which are used by the Crusaders to live in. Between the tents, you are stepping over people. You are stepping over, like I said, over puddles of filth, over campfires. You try your best to not lose this man, but fortunately, once again, he doesn't seem like he wants to cover his tracks or anything. He's just too sure of himself. And you see that he indeed returned to Groff. Groff has this wagon mm, this 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 large wagon which in which he works, and outside the wagon haunches of meat are hanging on hooks. Yeah. His assistant just takes a small break while sitting on the front perch of the wagon. On the what's the word for the for the thing that you are steering the wagon from?
Well, yoke is the thing that is used to steer, but that's the thing that sticks out in the front that they're latched to.
You're thinking of the thing the coach sits on, right?
Yeah, that's just the bench.
Okay, so his assistant, an ordinary-looking crusader, sits on the bench, and yeah, and you can see that the wagon, of course, is like I said, meat hangs from one of the walls, and Butcher Groff has just finished giving an elderly crusader lady, a hunch of meat. He patted her on the shoulder with a friendly smile. When he spots Jan's man, he smiles even wider. Jan's man approaches him. There are, like I said, there are a lot of people here, and even there's not a lot of space around Groff's wagon, so you can easily approach it and listen to him. My question is, are you doing this?
Yeah, I think at least
All right, but I would like to hear all of your declarations, not just Andy's.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think I have a problem with it.
All right, Vrentar.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, so you are all making your way between the tents to listen to the conversation between Groff and Jan's men, and you can hear Jan's men saying, "At the last rally before we leave Altdorf. Oh, and 6 lamb chops, please." Groff just nods his head and smiles, and handles the man 6 lamb chops in a small canvas satchel, pats him on the shoulder, and sends him on his merry way back to Karl's compound. You guys are all together. Nils joined you, and he says, when he returned, he just, he didn't do anything strange. He just, kept delivering food to people, and that's it. So, what are we going to do now? Asks Nils.
Well, you're right. We need more evidence. But we still have no evidence.
Oh, and when Nils asks what do we do now, he mainly looks at you, Vrentar. Since, he's also a priestly person, and you are his most practically, you are his senior in this party.
I have a generally disturbed look on my face, and I just kind of, softly shake my head, like I'm not sure.
He looks at you, Dieter.
yes, I'm perplexed by the situation as well. I didn't understand what they just said. It seems to be a code.
Yes, it's a fucking code, says Leopold. I'm pretty sure that they've meant a lot of good things, and not just poisoning the whole of Altdorf.
I think we need to bring this information to Helmut now. What else can we do?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, says Leopold. I mean, other...
Yeah, I guess.
We can't kill him. He's Butcher Groff. He's universally loved by the people. You will kill him and they will hang you. We can try and confront him, says Leopold after a few seconds. Ambush him in his wagon and, beat some information out of him.
I think any information that we can get feed
Oh, by the way, when you've only noticed this when you saw now that Groff is speaking to Jan's man, but you saw that Groff has a large boil on his bottom lip.
Where's the FDA? Jeez.
Nothing about this place is sanitary. It's a cesspool of madness. Yes.
You didn't wait long enough to say, bad.
Uh,
You needed a more dramatic one.
yes, I'm losing my, I'm losing my touch a bit.
Okay.
Look, we can't stay here forever, says Leopold. Either we go to Helmut and inform him about this, or we try and beat some information from that fat bastard here.
Well, Lucas is going to kind of usher everybody out of the sight
Of the wagon.
of
Yeah.
so we're not like obviously sitting there, conspiring.
Yeah, sure. You move a few alleys, you move a few alleys away from this place and just discuss things there. Okay, no problem. It's early afternoon right now.
I feel like if we're gonna kind of muscle on somebody, we need to do it when it's not as many people.
Okay. Well, you see that his wagon is pretty big, and even in the night, unless you would, lure him away from the Crusade, there would always be people in. People in the Crusade just live everywhere they can.
Well, and here's the thing. I think if we go, as much as I am for just going and killing them, if we're told to investigate this, odds are that will then give us carte blanche to kill them if we need to. So, I think we go discuss it with Helmet, and then before we discuss it with Helmet, we get a good look at him and make sure we don't see any boils on him. And proceed from there.
I'm alright with that, says Leopold. You see that Nils also nodded, and he's clearly not very happy with what is going on, like generally what is going on all around him, but he just, nods. But, the rest of you, Dieter, Vincent, Rentar,
I think we need to discuss it with Helmet before we go and start causing any commotion and getting ourselves in trouble.
I'm of the same mind.
Vincent.
I think for the sake of preventing the gears from continuing to move, we need to report it, but then, if given the authority or not, then pursue avenues of taking out the butcher. This is clearly a threat to Karl. But what would be a greater threat might be in the works, so I think we should talk to the authorities. At least get them on board so they can start pursuing things as well.
Alright. So you move back to the compound. Your mind set. You enter the compound and move towards Helmut's stand, which is number 4. You can see it on the map. It's between 7 and 3. Outside, of course, there are 2 hammer bearers who halt you. Halt. What do you want from Father Helmut?
We have information we need to relay to him about a possible threat to the Crusade.
Very well. In that case, you can enter. And, without any problems, they let you in. After all, you've helped uncover the Krieger plot. You enter inside and you see that Helmut is actually discussing things with Jan. You know, they both look at you, surprised. Yes, says Helmut. How can I help you, fine gentleman?
We have something important we need to tell you.
In private.
Yeah.
In private about it.
Jan, can you excuse us for a minute? Of course. Jan looks at you quizzically and then, you know, just walks outside. We are in private now. You can speak freely. You see that Helmut doesn't have a boil on his lip, by the way. And he looks at you in a genuinely sympathetic way.
Perhaps I should step out, to ensure the privacy, that there's no dropping of eaves.
Stay here, boy, and tell me what you have to say to me. What you have to say. I'm a busy man, and we have so much to do. Please.
You can go ahead.
We have witnessed something afoot between the butcher Gruff
Yes, Butcher Grove.
and one of Jan's guards, and he seems to be one of these oil-lipped cultists, and they are speaking in some code about plans to poison.
Are you telling me what I think you're telling me? That Jan Vanderpeer is in league with the cultists of chaos here.
We're saying one of Jan's men are. We're not sure if we can trust Jan. But we wanted to tell you because we couldn't trust him.
That's a very serious accusation, young man, but very well. Wait here. And you know, he walks outside. You hear that he speaks with one of the temple guards. He comes back in, and after, you know, the guard left, and after like a minute, he came back with Jan. What is it about, Helmut? What are these men still doing here? We have matters to discuss. This man tell me that one of your guards is in league with a cult that is trying to undermine our work here. What? That is preposterous. This man? I thought better of you, says Vanderpeer, and he looks at you. Tell me, Jan, if I'll search your tent, will I find anything? You'll find nothing. I mean, nothing illegal. What's that sound?
I had it on mute. I could hear it.
It was typed just a second ago. That might have been it.
Okay. You'll find nothing illegal, if you know what I mean. Then I'm sure that you allow us to search your tent. Of course. Sure. Please, come and see for yourself, and then we can end this charade, throw those men into the brig, and get on with it.
I think it'd be also wise to search the butcher's wagon.
Very well, we will do so in time, but first we need to search Jan's tent. Please, come with me. You walk outside the tent with Helmut and Jan, and Helmut, you know, summons a few of Eisenbach's spearmen and a few of his hammerbears, and they move to Jan's tent, which is number 13, left side of the entrance. Helmut orders his hammerbears, and only his hammerbears, to search the tent. They do so for a good couple of minutes, and finally they emerge. We have found nothing hurtful there, sir. I told you I have nothing to hide, Helmut. Now as for you, and he looks at all of you, I want this man imprisoned for accusing me unjustly, for being a heretic and for wanting to harm the child. You see that Helmut looks at Jan with a clear dislike in his eyes. But you also see, in a split second when he looks at you, you also see that he made his choice, and you guess you know why. Unfortunately, you are essentially nobodies. You are just, a few people who have recently joined the Crusade, and in a very strange, suspicious manner. You are newcomers, and Jan is... Well, Helmut needs his organizational skills and money too much to arrest him. Please relinquish your weapons, and don't make it harder for us than we need to, says Helmut, as, the spearmen and hammer bearers brandish their weapons at you. Leopold unclaps his sword without, a single word. He just looks at Jan with a clear disgust and hatred. Nils, drops his dagger. Vincent?
Are they speaking on authority
Of course.
of Karl?
Yeah.
I guess I would follow suit.
Yeah.
And unceremoniously drop the sword from my hip.
Yeah. Vrentar? Vrentar?
It was right when they ordered it. I would have given them my hammer. They were like my superiors.
Alright, so you drop your hammers. And finally we have Lucas.
Oh yeah.
Oh, sorry, we have Dieter. We finally have Dieter.
Yeah, I just have the rusty old cutlass and quarterstaff, so I just
Alright. They remove your weapons, but they let you keep everything else, including your armor. And they take you to your... They look at you strangely but say nothing. Helmut essentially, orders you arrested and for questioning. But you see that Karl runs out from the tent. You guess that he probably heard everything. After all, Jan's tent is not far from his. And, he begs mercy for you. They were mistaken in their accusations, but they were only trying to protect me. I would not see them imprisoned for it. He suggests that you should be banished instead. Helmut is like, yes, I guess we could just throw them out of the Crusade. We can't release enemies. It is too great a risk at this critical time. And once again, his reasoning unfortunately wins. And so Helmut, despite Karl's earlier words, orders your arrest. And you're being taken to the to your tent. With your hands tied, but not your legs. Wait a second. I just need a very quick... Yeah, sorry for that. Where it is? Yeah, so like I said, anyway, you've been arrested. So you are all sitting in your tent. They've put 2 guards outside of the entrance. You're all looking at each other. Yeah, so
Arrest for the weary.
So I guess some slight clarification. Are
I don't know, Jason. You should probably answer this question by yourself, for yourself. Yeah, this creates an interesting paradox, so to speak.
So I have a quick question. So our hands are tied.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of casting a spell. Do I need to have my hands up?
You can cast the spell as long as you have as you don't have your mouth covered, and yes, you can use your hands even when they're tied behind your back. Yeah, sure.
Aim yourself in the appropriate direction.
Yeah. So, and then functionally, just something that to hit the casting number, it just has to be the total of the dice, or what's the number? Or does it have to be
Total or above.
Yeah, total or above. Okay.
If you want to channel, you will have minuses to this because you still have trouble with channeling with your hands tied behind your back and in your current state.
Okay. I forget what channeling does to me, except it makes it easier for me to actually cast the spell in the second place.
Once again, sorry.
I just don't remember specifically what channeling.
Channeling lowers the required number by the amount of your magic statistic. So if you have free magic, you have like -3 to the total, required casting roll. So you hear that Vrentar. I guess that you want to do this.
Yeah.
You hear that Vrentar begins to chant, and move his wrist tied behind his back slightly.
Dieter, you mean?
Dieter, sorry, Dieter. My bad. I'm sorry. Yeah, Dieter. Yeah. Dieter does that, of course. Leopold, when he spots that, as well as Nils, just move quickly on his back, on his ass, actually, as far away from him as possible. The rest of you?
I think Lucas would do I know his hands are tied, but any kind of equivalent to the sign of the evil eye that he can do.
Yeah,
His hands like that kind of.
sure. Okay, Vrentar?
Theoretically, I get plus 10%.
You have a +10 to this.
I think I have.
Oh, you have +10. All right, but first you need to channel, and you channel with -20% because of the circumstances. But Vrentar and Vincent, what are you doing as you see that Dieter is trying once again to cast a spell?
I'm going to.
No, you're toying with dark forces.
I wanna look to Dieter, and I'm gonna nonchalantly look back to Lucas and say, "Do you think Karl's still in danger? I feel like he must be doing something."
Vrentar, sorry, Dieter, cast. First, roll, Yeah.
That was Vincent just totally ignoring what we
Success.
were doing.
And tell me, what do you want to cast, actually?
Well, my thought was, I'm assuming that if I change myself into the form of the soaring raven, that I won't have hands, so they won't be tied.
Yes,
anymore.
yes, you want.
And then I can fly around and spy on you. And
All right. So,
Leave his bros here.
yeah, of course.
I considered maybe trying to peck your bonds free, but we'll see.
Well, I'm pretty sure if you turned back into a human, you would then still not be tied up.
Well, but the problem is that once I cast it, I'm for an hour.
Oh, okay.
So, alright. So now I gotta roll.
I want to see your balance also shrink to where your wings are still tied and you're just
Uh,
sitting there for an hour. Basically, every time he casts a spell, he shits like a bird.
Alright, so
What's the casting number?
the casting number for Form of a Raven is 7.
So you need 4 or more. 1 die or more. Okay.
just because I'm worried that what?
Okay. Roll. 2d10s. 2 and 10. All right. You all of you saw something incredible. Vrentar chanted and made small gestures with his tight hands, and suddenly he shrank. He shrank completely. His clothes disappearing within his body, which also, changed. His arms became wings. He developed a beak. He became a black raven. And with a "Coco!"
Ay, Dios mío.
he soared high under the roof of the tent. But at the same time, something else happened. Suddenly, a knife cuts through the back of your tent, and in the middle of the tent, like between all of you, a dead rat is thrown in, covered in pustules and fleas. It lands in the center of the tent, and the fleas start hopping towards you all, except for you, Dieter, as you are, flying merrily under the tent's roof. So, Brian, I want you to roll a d10. Brian? Vrentar?
It's already got him.
Alright. Alright. Now I want Lucas to do the same.
D10.
Yeah? Alright, I want Vincent to do the same.
Sorry, I was in the other room and I had it muted as I was like parkouring across the house to make the dice roll.
Okay. I'm going to roll for Leopold, and I'm going to roll for Nils. Alright. So you you are sitting in the middle. The dead mutated rat lays on the between all of you, and the fleas hop like crazy. So now let's go into initiative order. You don't have to roll. We just go from left to right, with the NPCs at the very end. Brian, what are you going to do?
It's just a canvas tent.
Yeah, it is.
Can we go through it? Just like push through?
Mm.
Get out?
What do you mean push through? You can't push through canvas. Remember that these tents are pretty thick. They are solid. They are sturdy. Yeah,
Alright, yeah.
they protect rather well from the elements.
Um,
You are all, by the way, you are all sitting on the ground. Just, I would like to remind you.
That's what actually would be the first question I asked.
Yeah, you are all sitting on the ground, except, yeah.
the wall closest to the door, or like closest to the exit.
All right, you do that. Roll me one d10 once again. Oh, you can't re-roll those rolls with lag, by the way. All right. Now, Lucas, what do you want to do?
Try to get up. Are my hands bound in front or back?
Back.
Back. Try to get up. Best I can.
Agility test. With your minuses.
Right. So agility is 48, so I'm at minus 15, so it's gonna be 30. No.
You,
No minuses.
yeah, you can get up. You just that was your one action. What is your
Can I get a clarification on one of my spells real quick?
yeah? Which one exactly?
I have Deny the Heretic, which doubles the toughness of an inanimate object. If I were able to throw like a blanket or a cloth or something over the rat, would that help in this instance?
But help with what?
To contain most of the fleas?
The fleas are already out.
Oh, okay, never mind.
The fleas are hopping like crazy, between all of you. Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's that too. So your your second action, Andrew.
He's trying to get towards the door.
So you are making your you fell to your ass and you are making your way towards the door as fast as you can. Roll D10.
Assuming they're in the opposite side of the door, right?
Yeah.
Because they're
All right. Vincent, what about you?
How big was the hole that got cut?
Small, enough for a hand to be put inside and you know the rat to be thrown in.
Can it be ripped open from there though?
Probably, but you have your hands tied, and you know even ripping an open canvas cut by a knife is not that easy, especially this canvas. Like I said, this tents, they are quality. They're made from strong stuff. So, Vincent, what about you?
I think I wanna. I was hoping the hole would be a little bigger. But
No.
Vincent wants to go after that guy, whoever did it. So he's going to, ignoring everything else around.
Yeah.
Regardless of where the rat ended up, just want to go straight to the door to try to cut off whoever that was.
Raw agility to get up.
Alright.
Minus 20%. No. Luck? Hmm?
No.
Okay. Roll D10, please. Nice. Finally, we come to Sean. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Vincent. You had one more action. I'm sorry. Because you tried to get up, you can't. What next?
I'm gonna yell get him, but at the same time, I'm gonna try to move towards the door.
So you also crawl towards the door. Okay. Yeah, Dieter. What about you?
So I'm gonna crow loudly and see if I can fly. If there's any way I can fly out of the tent.
The
Out of that hole that they cut?
the tent has been closed. By the way, the entrance is closed and tied. As to Brian's question, you could try, but it would be hard. You are a big raven, and this, like I said, this hole is not big. It's actually rather small. It was like shink, cut like this, rat thrown in. That's it. You only saw, you know, the glint of an old knife opening, and then just rat coming inside. So, my question is, what are you planning to do? By the way, the fleas, since they are fleas, can jump rather high, and some of them try to get you.
Okay. Well, I'm just flying around the upper part and
All right.
look for things we can get out of and crowing very loud.
All right. So you guys are trying to get away from the fleas from imitated rat, while your friend, who is now a raven, flies overhead and just caw 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 caw, does stuff like that. Roll D10, Sean.
Alright. I don't know what else I can do. I don't really
I'm a fucking raven, bro. Okay. Yeah, Leopold and Nil.
You were
Yeah.
Ray Lewis was Raven. He could knock the hole in that tent.
You can also get out of some rape charges.
Yeah. And probably gun everyone down.
Okay.
There's a sports team here called Baltimore Ravens. They had a player that not a very good
All right. That's it. Oh, sorry, not D100, but D10. Alright, Leopold and Nils, you know, just cursing. They try to move as far away from the rat under the walls as possible. You think one of them got bit. You don't know which one, because you know you've heard the yelp of pain. Yeah, but nothing happens, at least so far. Once again, we have a new turn. Rentar, what are you doing?
I want to try and push through the entrance with all my might.
Alright, you try roll toughness. I mean, sorry, roll strength test. You have minuses, by the way, because you are... okay. You've nice. You've managed to like just move yourself through the entrance with a and you're outside between the guards who are like, what the hell? What are you doing? You were supposed to stay inside. But also, please, one more time, roll me a d10. Nice. After that, we have Lucas.
Yeah, I'm literally trying to do the same thing.
All right.
Push my way through, I am. If I need to try to get up again, I will. But trying to get away from there fast.
Yeah, you can do that even laying on the ground. But I would like you to make me an agility roll.
Okay.
Actually, no, sorry, toughness. No, actually, no, sorry, agility. Agility roll. Yeah, agility roll will be better. Yeah.
That time I was
All right, sure. So just roll me 1d10. Nice. Vincent, what about you?
All that falls in the same suit, but then if I see that there's an opening, I want to yell, an assassin behind the tent.
All right. All right. So you have a more difficult task because already Vrentar and Lucas are piled up outside, like in the entrance to the tent or exit. So you have, and you are still on your back. So you have to roll me agility test with a bigger minus modifier. No. All right. So you are essentially just you are kissing the heels of their boots as you're trying to push through them. Like now roll me a d10, single d10. Nice. We have now Dieter.
If the flap's open enough, I'm gonna try to fly out.
Yeah, you can fly out normally.
Okay, I fly out.
Yeah, the large raven just flies through the gap and you are free. In fact, since you're a raven and your reach is rather high, you can still do one more thing.
I want to try to fly up above the tent and see if I can see anybody running away from the tent with a knife in your hand.
Okay, sure. Roll me. You fly overhead and try to spot whoever did this. Roll me a perception test, which I also think you have a very high chance of passing.
I think I also have. Actually, I don't know what the stats are.
Roll.
Look up the stats
For a raven. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Wait, I'm going to see it. I have the book here. I'm in my PDF of the book here. Okay, and we have a raven too. It should be here.
Plus 20 to perception.
Yeah, but yeah, and this is based on your intelligence, by the way, not Raven's, because you retain your intelligence and willpower. So I guess you've passed. Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
I don't know. How much?
My intelligence is 52, so plus 20.
No.
But let me just double check.
Maybe you have keen sight. If you have the keen sight talent, you have additional 10%.
Well, I think I also have an extra. But I do have excellent vision plus 10%.
So you've passed. Yeah, you see a shady figure in a long brown cloak, quickly making its way in between the tents towards the canvas wall of the compound. But that's it for now. That's what you did, and now I'm going to. Yeah, Leopold and Nils are also trying, to go towards the exit, yelling like, Push us through. Push us through. I'm going to roll for Leopold. No, and for Nils. No. All right. So. Right. So. Good news is that. Lucas and Rentar, you are being yanked up and moved away from the entrance, so you don't have to roll me d10s anymore by the very angry guards who are like, you're not supposed to leave your tent. And Vincent, you and Leopold and Nils are quickly trying to crawl away from inside your tent infested with fleas, but that means.
Burn the tent, you have to protect Karl.
Alright, but you will still have to roll me d10, Vincent.
Okay. Just the D10.
Yeah. Actually, sorry, first roll me agility and then roll d10. Alright, you failed, so roll d10 normally. Nice, you've crawled away as a considerable distance from the tent. Leopold passed, and Nils did not, so Leopold only gets 1. Alright. But Nils and Leopold also followed you, and you are just laying outside panting. Yeah, more guards come in, and they all haul you up. One of Eisenbach's knights approaches you. You were not supposed to leave the tent. You know what will be the consequences for that?
There was an assassin. Take a look inside the tent.
Then
He's running away. He's behind the tent now. That's
bollocks to that, and he just gut punched you with his armored fist. Meanwhile, Dieter, you are flying overhead. You see that the assassin exited through a very neatly concealed slash in the canvas wall, and then just moves towards the main body of the main encampment of the Crusade, stationed outside Altdorf. What are you doing? You also spotted that your friends are being, well, mistreated by the knight.
Well, I'm still trying to crow and follow the guy as best I can. I'll give a couple more loud like ha ha, and then
There are so many birds here that no one will hear you, and essentially the guy just quickly disappears into the crowd. You can try and follow him, but it will require a -30 tests of perception for you each round.
okay,
If you
I'll try until I can't find him.
all right, so roll. If you fail even one, you lose him.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, roll.
So perception, so just my straight up perception.
Yeah, with the +10 bonus, and you failed. Yeah, you've quickly lost him in the sea of unwashed, disheveled bodies, unfortunately. Meanwhile, the rest of you, the knight is furious at all of you, and he actually takes you to a space behind tent number 7, which is Helmut's tent. He takes all of you there. With the guardsmen who are supposed to to guard you, and a couple of other and a couple of more of Eisenbach's spearmen. There's a hole there dug in the ground with a large iron grate covering it. The knight says, "Try to escape from here." One of the spearmen pulls the grate, and you are all being unceremoniously dumped inside. The grate is then thrown down, and the 2 guards once again take up duty guarding you in the hole. The hole is small, and you are all barely you all barely fit inside. Remember that we are talking about 5 guys in a small hole. That sounded actually very bad. Sorry for that. Sorry for that. Yeah, well. Anyway, so you know, one of you sits on a one of you sits on sits on another. You know, Lucas's elbow is like directly in Rentar's eye. Leopold's knee is right under your chin. Vincent, Nils is lying on you. Rentar, stuff like that. You can't really move. That's the problem. But you can speak with each other.
I don't think she'd want us to do that.
Yeah, and yeah, well, that's it. Well, we have really gotten ourselves into a lot of trouble now, says Leopold. Lucas?
Yep.
You take this thing incredibly calmly.
Is Leopold saying that to me, or are you saying that to me as done?
Leopold.
Well, being that he is sick and wounded, he is going to respond to that with a cough, and then a laugh, and then a statement about F it all, essentially. Essentially a statement about, like, what else is there to, I mean, we are royalty. I think that's probably the way you would put it.
Yeah.
There's no reason to not be calm. Besides, there's only one entrance here, and that means unless the guards are in league with the assassins, this is actually probably safer.
You are rather, this is not very comfortable here. But yeah, you get.
Comfortable, I said safer.
Yeah, just saying. Suddenly you hear. Sorry, says Nils. Someone is pressing on my stomach. Ah. Meanwhile, Dieter just, flies overhead and shits on people as a raven. Uh, yeah, by the way, Dieter, you saw what. By the way, Dieter, you saw what happened to your comrades. They are in a hole. What are you doing?
Sure what I can do. So for the next hour, I'm stuck in this corner.
And then you forget to land and change into human.
That's what I was. That's what I. So I fly around to find out where my friends are. So I do see that they've been thrown in the hole.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am going to fly and see if I can find the butcher.
All right. You fly towards Groff's wagon. You find it very easily.
I'm gonna see if I can get close enough to hear or see what's going on there.
You mean you try to land inside, or?
Well, I try to fly near it to see if there's anybody else there, or if there's anything going on.
As you approach the wagon from the air, you see that he's not outside. You see that his assistant is once again, snoring on the bench of the wagon. A cask of probably ale sitting under the bench, but you don't see Groff.
I'm gonna see if I can land like on or near the thing and try to be quiet and see if I can hear him or see anything once I get look inside once I get up there.
There are windows from which you can peek inside. That said, they have been closed. I mean, covered with drapes. Yeah, shutters from the inside. Unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's it.
Okay. So I just want to spend a minute just looking around,
Mm, y-
Full.
you would probably have to wait until he opens the door and then maybe try and slip inside. That said, it would be hard. You are a raven. So yeah, so that's that. Mm, other than that, no, you won't be able to go inside in any way.
Okay. I'm gonna fly back and I'm gonna see if I can spy on Jan.
So you want to go inside, like fly inside the stand, or what?
Again, fly near the tent. I don't feel like I can get inside anywhere unless it's wide open.
All right. So you fly towards the compound. Even
The wizard is awesome.
yeah, even from here you can see the hall, the hall in which your friends are being kept. Mm,
Can we hear him like flapping around?
no, no, of course not. Like there are so many birds here. Besides you have your eyes fixed directly onto someone's scrotum right now, so because you can move your head. So like there's no possibility for you to even lift your head. Mm. Because like I said, you can only move your fingers in your current situation, and it very quickly becomes painful and rather unpleasant. That said, Dieter, you fly towards Jan's stand. You can probably sit on top of it. Mm, you throw me perception. Ear perception, by the way. Oh, nice. That's a super botch.
Okay. I hear everything.
You want to reroll that?
That would be my last luck of the day. I will do that.
Yeah.
Oh, big money. Yay.
You hear that Jan, you think he's speaking with someone inside the tent. With a male. But that's it. They're not speaking loudly, they're speaking quietly.
I'm gonna see if I'm gonna fly down to the ground and see
Mm.
if I can nose my way into the black.
Alright, sure. You land on the ground, and right, so roll for agility if you want to move under the flap. Raven's agility, by the way. No, you can't. The flap is too tightly nailed to the ground with pegs, so you can't really push yourself under it. You can try in a few seconds. Remember that, however, that you're a raven and you are rather fragile in your state.
Yes.
You know, yeah,
Not attempting to get into combat.
yeah. Vrentar, roll me a toughness test, please. Wanna spend the luck?
Yes.
Okay.
One more on this.
Nice. Cool. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, you are all. Yeah, so, well, good news and bad news. Right, first of all, how much time do we have left, by the way, guys? I don't know if we should be ending or do we still have like 15 to 20 minutes or half an hour.
I mean, I've got up to
Awesome.
I got plenty of time.
What about the rest?
Do like 20, 30 minutes.
Sean?
Yeah, I could probably do it most like 45 minutes.
Alright, so let's go for 30 minutes more. Right, so Dieter, at one point you had to turn back into your human form. My question is, are you doing this in the compound from which you've escaped? And you've been with the Crusade long enough to know that those who escape from their captivity within the compound, there were a few people like that, they are not allowed back in on the pain of death. Or are you just, you know,
Like the only way they could get back in would be to fly.
yeah.
He was halfway inside of Jan's tank.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's still like was 40, yeah, 40 minutes late. So my question to you, Dieter, is, you know, how are you doing this?
Well, Peter's thought is that if that he should go and capture or do something that proves that the butcher is up to something and bring it back to the compound, because I don't think otherwise that I can free.
Free the guys.
Yeah, I don't feel like I can free the guys by myself without some sort of proof or something.
Okay. Oh, just a quick second. I'm going to the bathroom real quick, but don't go anywhere. I'll be back in like a minute. Okay?
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
Sorry, dudes.
No worries.
I'm trying to be helpful, but it's not really working very well.
So just to give you guys an idea of how awesome contrast paints are, I have finished 3 completely different models while we've been playing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I haven't been super successful with contrast paint yet. So I don't know. It's probably because I haven't freed my mind from my normal way of thinking.
So how does it work?
So basically you put a light color on, and then you slather a contrast paint all over it. What I tend to do on top of that is I do tend to then mix whatever that light base color was into the contrast paint and apply some quick wet blend highlight.
What, as an example, what did you paint? What was like the 2 colors you used?
So I painted a pirate and 2 Mordheim warriors, 1 Midheim and 1 Reichländer. But you know, I mean, they're covered in all kinds of paints. Like you know, the Reichländer has a green shirt and kind of yellowy white pants, and you know, obviously Fleshy's got a giant basket on his back, and then the Midheimer has green pants and a kind of like an off-white shirt, and you know, a fur cloak, and the pirate's in a, you know, essentially pirate garb. So I mean, I've used lots of colors on all of them.
Yeah. So far for me, I've used a couple different color contrast, and I've had the most success with like hair / fur kind
Yeah.
of stuff.
You also, most colors need thinning. That's a trick too.
Well, I have a pot of medium, and and that's what I'm trying to figure out is the level. I may not be thinning enough because
Well, a lot of it's very color dependent. It's also very model dependent. Like I found these things are like absolutely freaking amazing to skate.
that's what I would imagine.
I'm back.
Sorry.
Okay, yeah. Had to take a leak, so to speak. Sorry. Yeah, anyway, so where do you... so you're flying towards Grof's wagon, and what are you going to do?
Well, I am going to wait it out until I turn back into a person,
Yeah?
and then I'm going to see if I can cast up some fighty stuff like Claws of Fury and my etheric armor,
Okay.
and then burst in there and try to kick his ass.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry.
Being a wizard is awesome.
Yeah, right. You...
If I can pull it off.
He's gonna shit himself.
You guys, meanwhile, sit in the hall for a good couple of hours. At one point,
If he does shit himself, though, that might be fun.
at one point, you've heard that probably some kind of rally has been held outside by the Crusaders, as you hear that a lot more people are like all around you, are on the on the outside of the gates of Altdorf. Leopold, after you've turned into human, but we'll come to that in a second. You've also spotted this. Yeah, you've all at one point also heard the blaze of trumpets, and you've heard Father Helmut's fiery rhetoric shouted from like some place within the Crusade of the Child. You don't really know. You've heard that it was like again one of his many oratories. But other than that, yeah, you're just sitting in the hall. You are being thirsty, you are being hungry, and your bodily functions also need to be addressed. And that's the main problem. But yeah, you can hold it for some more, a couple more hours, but sooner or later you need to relieve yourselves in this hall. But Leopold, where do you Dieter, where do you turn back, like into human form?
I try to find a spot in one of the alleyways where.
But you do know that the alleyways here are not like empty. There are always people here. And by the way, as you are flying, you see that indeed the Crusaders have organized a rally for thousands of curious Altdorfers who came from the city to see what this fuss is all about, and that there are like just so many people now. The Crusade of the Child literally has a population of a middle-sized town in the empire, and there are people everywhere. So if you want to turn back without bringing any notice upon yourself, you can either turn out on the outskirts of the forest, at the edge of the open field in front of the in front of Altdorf, or you can try and find an empty Crusader's tent, vacated by its previous owner, and maybe try and turn there.
That's what I'm gonna try to do.
So first you need to find a tent, which will require a hard perception test. So minus 20% total with your bonus modifier. Actually, no, sorry, only minus 10. Let's do this only minus. Nice. You've managed to find an empty tent not far from Butcher Groff's wagon. You flew inside just as the spell draws to an end, and you've turned back into your form, into your human form. Nice. After that, you move towards the Butcher's wagon. Alright. You go outside, you move towards... What's that sound?
I just dropped them.
Oh, sorry. You move towards Butcher's wagon, and what? What are you doing?
Like I should just rip this guy in half or kill him. So yeah, I'm gonna try to cast Claws of Fury
Mm-hmm.
and then just tear into his tent or into his wagon.
Into his wagon. Okay. You do know that there are hundreds of people around you.
Yes.
Alright, sure. So, you are making your way towards the Butcher's wagon. You are determined. Your face is set. Grim and uncompromising. Your pens are shut, but your face is set. You are ready to do this. You begin to channel the power of Gur, the Amber Wind, the wind of the wild places, of forgotten hills and vast forests. You begin to speak the arcane litanies of the Amber College. First, roll for channeling. You've channeled the power. The power is yours. And now you try. Let's go. And now you try to summon the wild claws. What's the casting number?
The casting number is 8.
How many dice will you use?
I'm gonna go for 2 dice again.
Excellent.
Feels right to me.
So 8 or more.
No, I only have 3 now. It's only because of your
Magic, yeah, characteristic, yeah. So, use 2 dice and you cast 2 d10s. Nice. And now I'm going to roll. Right. You've unleashed the power of Gur, and suddenly you feel that your hands change. Long talons emerge from your fingertips like those of a wild beast. And people around you begin to scream and run away. And a commotion starts. But you don't care, you just move towards Butcher Grove's wagon. Are you casting something more? You want to cast Etheric Armor?
Yeah, I would like to.
You try to shield yourself with the power of Gur. You once again try to channel, I presume. Channel. Nice. You've once again caught the strands of Gur coming from the forests and the river. Rivers Talabek and Reich flowing through Altdorf. This is your time. This is your power. The love for Karl empowers you. How many dice will you use to shield yourself with magic?
I'm gonna use 2.
Oh, excellent. You live on the edge.
Always.
Nice. Yeah. You feel the winds protecting you. Well, actually, a single wind. The most important wind. The wild wind. The brown wind. This time you feel that your bowels work properly. You're not afraid of anything. You approach the door to the wagon, but they are closed. All around you people are panicking, calling for guards, crying, "Mutant! Mutant! Witches! Murder! Murder! Send for the guard! Where's the guard? Where are the guards?" Stuff like that.
Too long to open the door.
Actually, I think that they might be. Well, you would have to. Yeah. I mean, you can use weapons when you have the claws. You don't have fingers anymore. You only have claws. So the only thing that you can do is to try and rip the door open. Just for how long the claws are active?
For 3 minutes.
Okay. So no problem. All right. So you draw back your hands and then you just begin to rain blows on the door. Roll.
Same thing for the armor last 3 minutes.
All right. You hit automatically, so you just need to deal damage. Roll damage. I honestly think that you might get bonuses. I mean, I'm sure that you get bonuses to the. Blah, blah, blah.
Well, I get plus 1 attack and plus 10% weapon skill.
Okay, so your strength is basic. In that case, I guess it's 3 or 4 probably on your current level. So my guess is 3 or 4.
My strength is 39.
So 3. Okay, so you've slapped the door. I mean, slapped the door. You've opened you've made a few long deep gouges with one of your claws. Then you begin to hack. And I just need to roll very quickly something. Okay. Continue attacking. One more time. Nice. You've splintered the door. You can hear you can hear loud shouts coming from the inside, and Yeah, and suddenly to your right, a man emerges, holding, holding a club and a dagger, and he's like, "Get away from there!" It's the servant. He, yeah, well, he will most certainly try.
The servant?
He's the,
Wait, never mind, never mind, never mind.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He rushes towards you. Are you going to fight him? I mean, it's initiative time anyway, so either way, so D10 plus your agility. Mm, tell me how much do you have?
I am going to roll my initiative thing. I have a 50 ability, so roll. I've got 55 altogether.
You have
How
fif-
many are any of this going on?
You are on the other side of the camp
Okay.
of 1,000 people. Um, so no, you can't really hear. You are making everything in your power, guys, to not piss and shit on each other right now. This is a place, like, you are in a situation that's very, very unpleasant to you. So you are first, Sean. The man, you see that he's trying to make the steps to actually raise his club and and just strike at you, but you act first. You are the wild hunter, the untamed beast,
Well, the untamed beast.
the brown bear of fury. I can't take Warhammer seriously anymore. This is just such a ridiculous game. So okay. So
So I'm going to use my action. I'm going to say your master is a cultist. He must be destroyed.
as you are saying this, you see that the man has a boil on his lip. And when you said this, he smiles at you nastily and says, "I know," and then just jumps you. So that was one of your actions. The second action,
Oh, well, then I'm going to swipe at him with the claw.
but you're not yet in contact with him.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you can't parry his attacks. You have natural weapons, by the way. You'll only be able to dodge.
And that's a good question. Do I even have that?
What?
How
I'm
much
just.
speed to get in and attack like a can?
Well, I'm gonna have to close the distance from him. Okay, I charge at him.
You can charge. Charge is a double action.
I mean, I close.
You approach him. Okay. You approach the man, raising your talons. You see that he's kind of afraid of you, but at the same time, you can see the light of fanatism in his eyes. But that's not the right kind of fanatism. He raises his club and he begins to rain down blows on you. And he hits you in the arm. Are you? Well, you have to dodge. You have dodge? You don't have dodge.
I do.
Actually, are you a Magister Vigilant? Master Vigilant? Then perhaps you should have dodge. Check your character sheet. Although I'm not sure if Vigilants have. They are more combat oriented, but I don't think that. Wait this.
I think part of the problem is that I only just got into the match.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't get a chance to buy any of the stuff.
I don't see dodge on your character sheet. No, so that means half of your agility if you want to dodge his attack.
Yeah. So agility.
Nope. So he strikes you with the club on your hand for a total of 11 damage, I believe.
Nope. Alright. So
Yeah.
let's see if your armor do now that I've been smacked.
Etheric armor gives you armor points all around your body equal to your magic. So you have 3 armor points on all your body. That's actually very good. You have like a chainmail without any penalties. So
Okay, and then my toughness is 3, so
6.
points to get through.
Yeah.
It looks like I did have one wound
All right.
So I now have 6 wounds.
All right. Well, he smacked you very hard with the club. You've yelled in pain. All around you, of course, is a total chaos. People are running back and forth. You know the you are a man with claws fighting. Yeah, essentially yes, fighting a servant of a respected member of the community. But now it's your turn. Do you have multiple attacks?
I do.
So you can make a swift attack, 2 attacks with minus 10% to your second attack.
Okay. The claws give me plus 10%.
Yes, exactly. And I think they are treated as fast, which means that they are. I don't remember if they are. I would. Yes. So he will have.
What luck do you have, Sean?
I have 0 luck now. I used it all.
I have 1 left if you need it.
Well, we'll see.
Okay.
First attack.
Plus 10%. Nice. He will try and parry it with his dagger. He has minus 10% to that. He failed, so you've struck him in the arm with one of your claws. Roll for damage.
He's not wearing armor.
Actually, he does, but only on his chest. So, all right. So you've smacked him for what? 6 points of damage total, I believe, because
Oh, is it plus my strength?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah. You've opened a gash on his arm. He yelled in pain, but then your second claw descends. Roll on your basic weapon skill. Unfortunately, the second one he swatted it away, and now he's like, "I'm going to kill you."
You want to use that luck?
Right now, you can lend him your luck in every situation. Like you guys can lend each other luck only in a situation, for example, when I don't know, it will be life or death. But for most cases, your luck is your luck. Yeah, but I basically will tell you when it's possible. The man, of course, he's hysterical. He tries to bash your skull in, and he manages to hit you in the arm once again. Or maybe it's actually sorry. I think it's it's chest even. Wait a second. No, it's your left arm. So.
Try to dodge with my half ability.
So 25%.
Yay.
You've managed? Okay.
14.
Nice. You've ducked from the swipe of his club. Sorry. Now it's you. This is your second or third turn. Third, I think.
This is the third turn.
All right.
I'll
Excellent.
count to try and break down the roll of this.
All right. Roll. He will try to parry once again. 0-1. He expertly parried the slash of your claws with his dagger, but then your second attack. It's not over yet. Unfortunately, no, because your second attack is on your base weapon skill because of the plus 10. But even with that, you've failed. Yeah, and you suddenly hear, "Stop in the name of Karl! Stop!" Roll as a free action. Roll for perception test, please. You hear someone shouting like that, shouting this, but you don't really know what's going on. But then the man finding you see a triumphant look on his face, and he cries, help me, mutant!" And then he, strikes you with his blow, and manages to hit in the chest. Parry or dodge?
I can't parry, so.
Oh, yeah, sorry, dodge. Yeah, sorry. So 25%. Unfortunately, his blow goes right towards your chest, and it's for I believe it's only for I don't. It didn't pass through your defenses because you have 3 toughness and you have 3 points of etheric armor. So the blow was stopped by the power of magic, but then you feel someone like slamming into you. The guards have arrived, and they see a man with claws fighting an ordinary man in front of the butcher's wagon. Just so you know, I mean, we will be ending this now, Sean, because I still need to give you points, but just so you know, unless you change into Raven, those men will not fight to subdue you, but to kill you. Because because for them you look like a monster who is attacking one of the holy crusaders of Karl. So you think about your next action. While you guys, unfortunately, you still languish in the pit, trying to hold your bladders and bowels as best as you can.
Well, if I'm on top,
Yeah, I mean the the space.
the order of who's on top is very
The space is so small here that honestly, everyone will be like,
Mobius, it's a Mobius strip of
yes, something like that.
we all push ourselves to the top.
Okay, so that was it for today's game, guys. Thank you very much. The person who takes notes, 50 points for everyone for the game. 10 points for all of your characters. I saw them today. It was very nice. For the place of birth, Vrentar, you are a Nordlander.
I don't think I have anything.
In all honesty, I didn't saw anyone's place of birth today. Vincent, Lucas, yeah, sorry. After that we have religion, I believe. Vrentar, you're a Sigmarite. Yeah, you. I will give you 10 points. Like, you've dropped your weapons because they are your superiors. You want to stay with Karl. You were very Sigmarite, very nice. So max points. Lucas, what about you? Nothing. All right. Vincent, what about you?
No, really.
All right. Dieter, what about you?
Yeah, I didn't feel like I did anything.
I don't even know which kind of god are you. Like,
Well, if religion at the present being is devotion to Karl.
well, yes, but remember that, like I said, Karl is the light of your lives. But like I said before, your like fundamental beliefs didn't change. You've just substituted the most important thing in your lives for Karl. But for example, you can argue, Dieter, for example, you can argue that Karl is a person who unites Sigmarites and Thalites. Because he's Sigma reborn, and so he'll make he will build a bridge between the faithful of Tal and the faithful of Sigmar. Stuff like that. It's an example. I know it's probably not very easy, but it's doable. Okay, so after that we have star signs. Brian, your star sign.
Precise, accurate. I have it written down here.
Okay. Andrew, what about you?
Mom with the full sensible, intuitive, lucky. I don't know that I mean, I could make a tiny argument for sensible and the idea of trying.
Yeah, you were sensible. You weren't definitely not lucky. So I'll give you 5 points for being sensible. After that we have Vincent, Jason.
Gunner, who's ball driven, full of profession of arms. I don't think we really have anything there. I think the only thing I'd be kind of stretching, but just kind of my attitude when searching for the tent, making sure Karl was
Yeah, I mean, um, I think so. I honestly thought that you would maybe try, and after Krieger's death, you would maybe try offer your services since you have like a military background, stuff like that. Maybe as a protector, more of a protector of Karl, or even someone who works in his security detail. Just a thought. Anyway, now we come to Sean.
I have mana to wise and engage there. I don't think I hit any of those today.
Yeah. Yes, probably probably not. Okay. So yeah.
I have my thing pulled up.
What?
Star sign.
What is it?
Yeah.
Limiter's line. It's accurate, exact, precise.
Okay. Yeah, I hear you. I'm just asking. I'm just waiting for the. Um.
The tent scenario, went right for the exit, and then when I was out, I was saying to burn the tent and protect Karl. Like that was my main concern.
Okay. Yeah. That's actually a good explanation. I can give you 5 points for that. Sure. That was solid.
Did Lucas get anything for Star Sign?
Lucas.
Yeah, I got 5.
5. Okay. So after that we come to Dooms. Brian.
I don't have.
Okay. Andrew.
The sword shall bring no justice, only suffering. I tried to bring justice without using, by going to what's his name, the priest.
Yes. 10 points. Very good. Very cool. Okay. And you want to do that from the beginning? Like, yeah, sure. Jason.
Mine is I don't have it open, but it's essentially death will come from within. Now, my current insanity kind of interferes with that, so I kind of put that over
Okay.
the doom, counter the doom itself. I guess the best example was when I entered the tent of the mutants. I knew I should not have. I knew I should have left right away because of the rat, but instead I just stood there and called for the, I guess, the guards to show them what I found. And I should not have been standing there.
Okay.
So
So,
that was kind of my insanity overriding my doom.
well, okay. I can give you 5 points for that in this case. I think. Or do you think that you deserve 10? Honestly.
I feel like I've been kind of careless with. I think I've been playing the insanity well, but I don't know where that would be applied.
Insanities are never rewarded in game. They are penalties. If you catch insanity, that means that you did something wrong.
But in that case, maybe just 5.
Yeah.
Because it was conflicting with my game, but I felt like I had to play the insanity.
Yeah. So I can give you 5 points for that. And finally, we have Sean.
Fearsome engines belch forth fires of thy destruction. I don't think I think
No, not yet. Maybe later, but not yet. But that's a very cool doom for an Amber Wizard. Now, Sean, my one not gripe. I know this is a new character for you and probably new thing. I don't really see that much Amber Wizard from you. They are shamans. They are like rural, feral, survivalist guys who live in forests and feel better with animals than with people. You are role playing very well as usual. Just so you know, you are role playing more of a, I don't know, celestial wizard or maybe a gold wizard than a feral one. That's why I've actually, sent you yesterday the article about the Amber College.
Yeah, I've actually I've read before.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the more like the stronger an Amber Wizard gets, the more recluse he becomes, and the more like an animal he becomes. You growl, you don't bathe, you just grow hair all over your body. Uh, yeah, I mean, even like taking a piss or a shit is just you just squat on a street, do this, and then move on. You don't use. Yeah, exactly, exactly. You don't like metal weapons. You don't like to wear normal clothing. You don't sleep in an inn, but rather outside. That's why Amber Wizards are very hard to roleplay because you are at a disadvantage from your lifestyle. But that's something for you to think for until next session. So no race because you are all playing humans, and I don't think that there were any ideas which pushed the adventure forward.
No.
Honestly,
Well, I don't know. I thought going all by
Yeah, the
myself
bird
and
thing.
attacking was perfect.
yeah, but it really didn't do anything other than that you probably now you will now have to contend with like a 4-man patrol aiding the servant. So yeah, so once again, Sean, like probably unless you very quickly turn into a bird next round after we next time play, I don't think that it will end good for you. Just so you know, because you won't talk yourself out of this. For those people, you are a monster, uh, a mutant with claws. Mm, yeah, I know that you meant well with the whole butcher thing, but it was a it was a very risky thing to do, but also very very cool.
This is
Mm.
where you sell, where you yell, I'm in service to the butcher, and then disappear. The butcher? I'm the butcher now.
Okay, so
Yawn, and who else when I like,
Helmut, yeah. Okay, so anyway, that was that. These are the points for today, so you can note them down. And for our next game, guys, we in 2 weeks it will be 17 of November, but I don't know if you can play. Then tell me, please.
The 17th should work because the following weekend is a holiday weekend here.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can. I may have to do that thing where I get on. So I might not be able to take notes next time.
Okay.
Because we've got this thing going. If we go to regional cross country meet, that's in Albuquerque, and so it's like a 6-hour drive.
Okay.
So I would be coming back. Well, I guess technically I'll figure out some way to do it, but I may not be able to take notes.
Okay, so someone else will, but I would much more rather have you playing than just you taking notes and playing. So that fits. What about Vincent and Brian? What about you guys?
That works for me.
Okay.
the 17th?
Yeah.
If it doesn't, I'll let you know as soon as possible.
Okay. So
Actually, technically, the following week, just to let you know, is not yet a holiday, right? Because Thanksgiving is on the 28th.
Yeah, but that's a holiday weekend. That's when,
That's when people start going on vacation.
On the 24th.
Well, I take that whole week off.
Oh, okay. I don't, so I have to fit it all in.
remember that if you guys.
actually, I was thinking it was the week. I was thinking it was a week earlier than it was too. I didn't realize when November ran this, how long it ran this year. So,
Yeah, the Thanksgiving itself is the 28th.
right. But
No, it's cool by me. 17th is perfect.
Remember that if you guys want, we can play on the 16th. I'm not picky.
16th, I definitely.
Okay, so let's So let's stick with the 17th for now, and write you know, on the group if you can't, and we'll see. Okay. Okay. So I'll see you hopefully all on the 17th, and thanks for the game as usual.
Thank you.
And remember to eat responsibly. It's all about your bowels and dignity. Anyway, to-dos.